Well, well, well. Ooh, that's too loud. As usual. Still making my way through tech stuff. Let's turn this down. Check in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, music seems okay, and I guess I'm okay. Testing. One more check. Test. Testing. Okay. There we go. Well. Hello. Before I say hi, because I'm going to lose this thought in a second, I need to research. I wonder if I have some kind of like chronic allergies. I cannot for the life of me not feel congested. Not as bad as like when I'm sick, but like just on a daily basis, I feel like, I got to clear my throat, runny nose, just it never goes away. So anyways, DTK says, hi, I am here. Who else? Well, it might have been just you. We're starting off. We're still a small streamer, okay? We got a whiles to go before we're successful, right? But thank you very much. We'll be successful because of people like you, DTK, who keeps watching the stream, supporting in any way possible. But yes, thank you for being here. Happy Monday, everyone. I still feel like I'm a bit too loud, but it just might be too loud in the headphones on my side. So easily fixable. Boom. Okay. The Mustafa says, why? And then W intro. Thank you very much, Mustafa. Thanks for watching over on Twitch. And yes, that intro, that was a proper labor of love, So I say that too many times, but this one was a true, like, oh my God. If you could see the amount of headaches it was causing me behind the scenes, because I had to pull, basically you're seeing footage in that intro from about 2 years worth of traveling, which is like 100+ terabytes of footage. And it's all across different portable hard drives and SSDs. So I had to just like, actually, you know what? Hey, I can show you. I can show you the behind the scenes. Because I should have the DaVinci timeline for that. So give me a minute. Let's see. But welcome. Thank you guys for being here. And let me see real quick before I hop around. Oh, hold on. Let's say hi to my cats. Both of them are chilling with me today. Wow. Okay. It does feel a little bit dark here, doesn't it? Hold on. How's Kimbap? Maybe the light. I might need to adjust the light a bit. Because you can see here, there's a little bit of, oh, you know what it is? I forgot to turn on one of my lights. Give me a second. I forgot to turn on the YouTube light, Look at it. It just looks so dull over there. Hold on. Give me a minute. Amazing. Wait, did that actually make a difference? Let's see. Oh yeah, wow. I didn't know that is the value of that red light. It filled in that literally right here. It was like a dark gray patch, it felt like, before I turned it on. Now we get a decent glow, it's better than gray. So, all right, okay. Well, welcome guys. We got my kitties here to say hello. So Nala's just sleeping over here. And let's hop back over to Kimbap. And Kimbap is just chilling, as always. They're all just sleeping away, acting like nothing's going on. And you got me again. So thank you guys. All right, I wanted to show you. Hold on. Where would it be? It might be under my brands for website. Okay. I think I found it. Hold on. All right. This is kind of random, but I figure I can show you guys for the website. Was it this one? Yeah, let's see. It probably won't properly play because I'm assuming a lot of my hard drives, it might be disconnected. I'm not sure. So we're going to have to find out together. But this is the behind the scenes of how I made that opening of the intro, right? Technically, I have two openings. I have the intro, which is the one that kind of repeats after like 3 minutes or so. And that's just like the full montage. And then I used canva.com. And in Canva, I was able to create that text overlay that just says like I forget what it says, but something about, hey, stay tuned or check out my live stream. I need to double check to see if I need to update any of that. And then I have an opener. So the opener is what I play right before I get started. You know, it's because like I'm running, you know, I hit the stream button, but then I run around, do a few things, feed my cats, I run some errands, I make me a drink. It's just, there's always like a laundry list of things I do after I hit the stream button. So let's say about 10 minutes in, I will be ready. And so I hit this button. I'm going to hit it again so you guys can see it. This is my opening, like a few second thing. And then I start. Hold on. As I was playing, I was going to take a sip of my drink and I realized I left it on the freaking kitchen counter. Let me grab it. Ooh la la, I made this concoction myself. Okay, Mustafa had a question. Mustafo, sorry, you didn't have a question, but you had a compliment, which I really appreciated. So I figured I can return the favor, or at least show my gratitude by showing you. This is how I made the video. It must be here then, yep. So this is the video behind the scenes, how I created it. Let's see if I can full screen a few things here, if it helps. Would this help? Nope. Just a bit cleaner, I guess. How many soundtracks do I have? So I ended up using 6 audio tracks. I still don't really know how to do I don't know how to organize my tracks very well. So anyways, you can see here, I ended up using the soundtrack. There's a main soundtrack here. I think it's from Lens Distortions, the sound platform. And then I used audios 2 through 6, where I think I applied a few different sound effects and some other soundtracks that I would kind of like loop in at different points, I think. Generally speaking, it looks like most of these on the bottom were the sound effects. Digital camera fast shutter sound, or some wind sound, or whatever, yeah? And then up top, I basically pulled, you can see here, all of these different clips of me throughout my travels. And I called it the 1 year of travel. I think realistically, I think I said 2 years, but it was like realistically, I think like 1.5 years, maybe, that I was pulling from. But it sounds weird to say 1.5 years, right? So 1 year, just in the same way, it wasn't really 3 minutes long. I think it was like 3 minutes and a few seconds, right? Mustafa asked, was it not hard layering all those soundtracks? I mean, I guess when you say was it not hard, I don't know why I don't have a good answer for you. Well, I'm trying to remember back to when I was making this. I don't think it was that difficult because I already found a good soundtrack. So I spent a lot of time researching and I try to listen for good sounds for any of my projects. And once I found the one that you hear in my opening, in that intro, I was like, this is it. I don't need to change anything of this. It's more just trying to see at times if I change the visuals or if there are moments in the beat where it goes fast, maybe I want to line up some kind of sound effect maximum. So you can see I didn't use too many sound effects, right? It was just occasionally here, especially with the photos, when I was swapping through, I found a sound effect that just goes like like that, like a staccato thing. But no, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be because it wasn't too complicated what I was doing. It was just trying to make sounds play at different moments. Sorry if that it's not a clean answer, but guten Abend, de Tor. Oh wait, you might have explained. You did explain how to pronounce your name, and I already forgot. De Torre. De Tor. Hello, Yubel. Good evening. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for always being so consistently a part of the stream. I appreciate it very much. Happy Monday. I'm just kind of showing a little bit of behind the scenes of how I made my opening intro. It feels weird to say opening intro. That can't be right? Because it's redundant. This is my intro, is what I'm trying to say. So I would take a bunch of these clips from different places. For example, this was from Zimbabwe. And thankfully here, so this is when I took a honeymoon couple with me. So basically, someone I'm close friends with, but basically he reached out asking, would you be able to organize and put together like a 2.5 week honeymoon trip? I was like, yeah, absolutely, if you pay me the money. But no, it was I'm very grateful that they trusted me enough to give them a good time across Africa, their first time in Africa. So we spent half the time in Zimbabwe, the other half in Uganda. And so this is one of the lodges that we were staying at, where actually let's switch over to this view so I can. So at the lodge that we were staying at, whoops. Oh wait, I thought that would not do that. How do I do this? If I go here. Ah, okay. I just gotta find it. Where are you? Where are you? This one? Okay. So at this lodge, it is super cool, but they have this swimming pool, and this is literally the barrier to keep the wild animals out of the lodge area. And so where I'm standing, there was a fireplace. So you can see here, I'm kind of like in the sand. But yeah, there's a fireplace here, and then the elephants almost on a daily, almost on the daily, actually probably every day, they come by to drink water from the swimming pool because it's like fresh water and all that. And in the evening, sometimes they also pop in, which is a wonderful experience if you're a tourist, if you're staying at the lodge, to be able to see these freaking massive beasts up close. And you can go pretty, you got to be careful, right? But I was like standing pretty close at different times, and you see, even especially when the baby elephant comes up and starts sipping, like it barely reaches the ledge. And so super adorable moments. And one of them filmed me behind the scenes, so that was great. That really helped me out. Because I don't have a lot. Like I said, that's one of the problems. I do a lot of solo traveling, so I don't end up with a lot of footage of myself, which is necessary and narcissistic. But for me, it's more necessary. It's more that letter N, not the other. Because if I'm selling a business, if I'm trying to like pitch myself and my brand, I need more footage of me. So thankfully, I got some from that trip. So this is from Zimbabwe. This was from India. Excuse me. This is when I was in the Ladakh area. I forget what the name of the region is, but maybe it's Ladakh. But yeah, it's where the snow leopards are, so I was doing a bit of hiking. Now for this footage, I got this footage by just setting up a tripod with my camera from a distance, and I did that really cringy thing that you see a lot of social media content creators do, right? So I set up the camera, and then I walked all the way back behind the corner, and then I did the walk back forward. Super cringy, okay? But I remember I saw a really legit content creator. He's like a wildlife photographer, and I got to join him on a trip one time, and we became friends from that trip. But he's like proper. I think he's got like 1 million followers on, million subscribers on YouTube, I think, at this point, or maybe Instagram, I forget. But yeah, I saw when we were on this trip together, like a wildlife trip, he did the same thing. Like he would set up the camera and then do the walk. So it's like, hey, look, if this guy's doing it, it must be good. I trust that guy's, content. So Mustafa asked, do you ask random people to film you, or you hire someone? No. Usually if I'm going with the group, I might ask someone to like film me if they can. The problem is when you're shooting, I'm not shooting with my iPhone, right? So because I have all this fancy looking camera gear, you can't just like go up to a stranger and ask them to film, because realistically they might not know how to do it. So there's like a big learning curve sometimes, even if you're like, oh no, it's okay, just hit this button, it's autofocus. It's just a hit or miss. So usually it's hard to get someone to film, and I usually don't ask. But I started doing these like photography group tours, and as part of that, sometimes I get one of the members to film me, because they're photographers usually, so then they can help me out. But yeah, it's the curse of traveling alone oftentimes, is like, who is gonna film you? This one was a trip to Italy, and so one of the main guy, the photography guy that I was joining his tour for, he filmed me from a distance. We were searching for ibex, so we were hiking up the mountain and filming ibex. And so thankfully, he got some footage of me, and so I was so grateful, because yeah, I was like, man, I don't have anything. So this is from Italy. What else can I show you? Let's see. Yeah, and then in terms of like, I didn't do anything fancy when it comes to the special effects or visual effects. You can see here, all I did was just fade in. I did a lot of fade ins or subtle zoom effects. So yeah, just like that little fade effect to go into this shot. Yeah, it's just, and I'll share my thoughts as well on how I put this together, but group-wise is nice, more entertaining and useful, as we can see from the video. Yeah, the groups are always great. Small groups. I like anywhere from 2 to 6 people. 6 is, I think, the maximum. When it gets larger, I did do some trips with larger group, and it was like, it's a lot more to handle, right? Because then you got to worry about the group dynamics. If people don't get along, if they get annoyed at each other, it's like, oh man, what do you do? Yeah, so I did just a very, very subtle fade effect here. And my thought process for this intro was start with showing footage of me, right? Be narcissistic, but it's like, no. You should show yourself. So then it kind of sets the scene of like, okay, this is an intro. It must be about this guy right here. Look at this dude, this Asian dude over here. And using some shots where the environment keeps changing. So this one was like a 2-parter. So you see me from the front and then you see the wildlife, right? But the wildlife is still kind of in the background. It's not really in focus. So it's just giving you a teaser. It's just like in that split second or in the few seconds you see it, it gives you an idea of like, whoa. Is this guy, you know, we saw him and then we saw what he's filming or shooting. And so then hopefully draws the attention. That was my thought process. And then it buys me some time. So this gives me a bit of leeway to then show a few more setting up the scene, like contextual shots, as opposed to like exciting shots. So hopefully I hooked the audience by showing the elephant briefly and then a bit of text. And then the next few shots were just meant to show me in different terrain. So you saw me here in like a safari savanna location. Then you see me up in the mountains. And then this was a 2-parter as well. So you see me walking in the mountains and then you see me shooting in the mountains, then switching to green. So we went from dark to brown to green. So just to hopefully switch it up every once in a while. So then here, same thing. Now I start with showing the wildlife first. So now you get an extra teaser. So before people get too bored, like, no, show me more stuff. It's like, okay, here you go. Here's a little teaser. You see that big ass giraffe in the background. And then psych, you know, you thought you were here for the giraffe? Nope, it's me. So then I go back to me. So then hopefully again, it's just grounding a little bit more of like, this is clearly the main character of this video. Not to sound narcissistic, but yeah, like it, you know, obviously I'm trying to promote myself. Mustafa says it worked on me, so I guess it's working. Hells yeah. Yeah, sometimes you dream big, or I think through some things and you hope it works. You never know. And then here we go. So same thing. There's a process to everything. So these 2 shots were of the same experience, but from 2 different angles. These 2 shots were 2 different mountains, but visually they look somewhat the same, like the browns in the background up in the mountains. But it also kind of gives a feeling of like adventure and then shooting. Right, and then here these 2 go together because now we get in the greens and the giraffe in the background and me, but then now here's us back together and you know, more in focus as I zoom in. And then this was in Uganda. So there's this one walking safari that we did in one of the national parks in Uganda. So it was such an incredible experience because you can get pretty close. You got to be careful. And then switching over to this rhino shot. So then here the extension or the connection I had was just showing me from the back, right? So you have a shot of me with my gear shooting something. So then I figured a transition to the next shot would be a similar me from the back shooting at a subject in the distance. So that was like the kind of connective tissue to take it to the next clip and the next clip. And then here, flipping it around now. So now I'm introducing the winter environment. So in the few seconds that I have, all of these shots are clearly, I'm always in each shot. So it was meant to keep building up this, like, I don't know, trust or not trust, build up a rapport with the viewer that, okay, this guy right here, I see him here, I see him here, I see him again and again and again and again. But it's not too boring because interwoven in between some of these shots of me, you're getting a bit of the wildlife. You're seeing the different changes to the background, the environment. So hopefully you're feeling like you're traveling, you're being transported all around the world with this guy, you know, over and over again, at least in the beginning parts of the video. Mustafa says, I always wonder if the sound/music should come first rather than the editing, the transition effects cuts of the footage. How do you approach that, if I may ask? You may ask. And actually, I put that as I put this as a bullet point in my notes. I think I want to make a video on how I edit. I mean, for sure, I'll make a video on that, but like talking about the power of audio. And for me, I tend to prioritize audio towards the very beginning. So, for example, I might first color grade and like look at all the footage I have. So I'll at least know what's my library or database of clips that I can use. And then I will spend a lot of time. Sometimes I'll spend days just listening to music, like just as many music soundtracks as I can find until and then I'll try to bookmark. Maybe I'll find out of dozens that I listen to, maybe there's like 3 to 6 songs that really hit the spot. So then I'll download those music, and then I just kind of like listen to it and I visualize. It's a lot of just like imagining with the mood of the song. Can I almost feel like this energy? Is there a pace that comes with the song on its own? And here's the beauty. The video clips that I'm capturing, there's a big question mark about the quality of it, right? Because it's me, like shooting the shots. So it's like, okay, it just depends on how professional I am. But that's a huge if, especially as someone who's developing their skills and all that. I don't know. But then when you listen to soundtracks, the songs are created by professionals. And so if you're finding good music, the song in and of itself is a story, right? Like it's 3 minutes long, 2 minutes long, whatever the duration is. The musician has told the story through audio in a way that you feel like you're constantly changing moods. You know, there's beats to the song. You feel like you're flowing with the song. So in some ways, the song itself is packing the entire story structure already. So then it's like, sometimes you don't have to change the song at all. You just use the song as is. Hello, Yami. Yami, thank you very much. Man, you are always throwing some raids my way, and so I appreciate it. Shout out to Yami. Yami is an amazing photographer and gamer, as I saw you. Was it the Nier Automata? Nier Automata. Yami, how's it going? Thank you very much for the raid. Thank you for Yami's viewers for being here. Aurora Viator EM is what I'll call you. Viatorum. Probably sounds more right. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for being here. Cat and Candle. Hello. Oh yeah. Well, obligatory, since you are the Cat and Candle guy. Both of them are chilling with me to start the stream. So this little pillow over here, let me keep bothering her. You know, she was bothering me all day, so I think this is only fair. Here, let me just keep bothering her. You think you can sleep around here, Nala? Huh? You think you can sleep? Oh my god, she's like fast asleep. Okay, fine. She wins. And we got Kimbap over here. He's too far away, and I'm too lazy to go bother him. But yes, my cats say hello. I say hello. And thank you again, Yami. Hopefully you had a wonderful stream. Hopefully you were kicking ass if you're playing video games or editing some epic photos. Yami says the tattoos. Tattoos. Are you talking about my tattoos of my cats, or are you talking about cat twos because I have 2 cats, and that was a pun way to say it. If you're talking about the cat twos, yes, we got Nala right here. This is my second tattoo I ever got. And then we got kimbap here. So kimbap is the Korean word for Korean sushi. So I got this tattoo done by a Korean artist in France, of all places. And I asked if she can create a design where kimbap is dressed up like a chef and he's chopping up Korean sushi. So I thought that was clever, you know? Who knows? I thought so. That's what matters. Cat O's. Okay. Damn, those objectives. Do I have it somewhere? I had a very chill stream, just drawing a little. I'm saying cat two. But hell yeah. Wait, is that a word, or am I missing something? Because Cat and Candle, you're also saying something. Cat O's. Am I missing like? Oh, I'm an idiot. That's why. Oh, you know what? There should be a thing. It's just like, when in doubt, I'm an idiot. I get what you're saying now. I get it. Like the Catos. I see. Like a slang wig. Wow, that took me a while. Well, it's a Monday, and you know, it's a Monday, and it's me, so this is what you get. But we like tattoos. Cat tattoos, says Yami. Yes. Cat and Candle, thank you for not leaving the stream after I was staring blankly at trying to figure out that word. Photo objectives or lenses, not sure about the English word, sorry. Oh, photo objectives. You mean photo lenses, yeah? Or photo objectives. Oh, wait, objectives. Is that like that's like a fancy way to say something about visualizing things, or those lenses? Yes. So thank you very much for being here. And Aurora, I'm assuming this is your first time checking out my channel, so thank you very much. I was just breaking down. I have this intro that I play at the start of every stream. By the way, the image of the music player is broken. Oh, no, it's not broken. It's just some of the songs that I have in the playlist doesn't have a cover image. So then this is like the default version when there's nothing there. I think. Hold on. Give me a second. Let's double check. So if I switch the song. There we go. Boom. See? Then it looks nice. It looks ugly otherwise, but what can you do? Yami says in Swiss they are called objective. Oh, that sounds really cool. But they mean lenses. Oh, you know what? It sounds like the word optics. Maybe that's what I'm also thinking of as well. Optics. But yeah, so Aurora, just to give you a quick sense, I'm going to play just not the full thing, but I'll show you the video. This is part of my intro video that I play as I start my stream. So let me go ahead and play it for a bit. Okay. Hopefully that played out okay. Okay. But yeah, so then Mustafa in the chat, again, shout out to Mustafa for being here. He was asking, or he mentioned about the intro, and so as appreciation, I wanted to show the behind the scenes of how I made the video. Because it did take me a long time. This is over a year of my travels combined into a single project timeline, where it's like over 100 terabytes of footage that I had to review and then edit to try to put this together. So then Mustafa was asking, but for my order of editing, I usually try to find the song first, or near the beginning. So thank you very much, Yami. Once again, you said, sadly, I got a dip. As always, dinner time. I'll be lurking. Have a good rest of the stream. Yeah, no need to say sorry. You don't have to explain yourself. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the raid. Enjoy your dinner. But Aurora says, that looks so professional. Well, thank you very much. That's what it takes. Well, it is what I do now for a profession. I am a wildlife and travel photographer, and recently now shifting into filmmaker as well. And so a mix of, I travel the world, I try to vlog, capture it. Now I've started YouTube. Now I'm doing live stream, as in the past like 6 months. And I take people with me on my travels. So I do like international group tours to different locations. So it is what I do. So as a profession, I figured I need to make a professional looking video that also sells me in terms of my brand. So a lot of this footage is meant to like kind of show me out in the wild as I'm going there, whatever the terrains. And then at this point, so Mustafa, because I found this song, so it's called Operational, and it was on Lens Distortions, if I remember correctly. There's a moment in the song. So from second 0 up until this part right here, it has like a nice build up, right? The song is kind of soft. It feels very much like an intro-y type vibe. And then at this point right here, you can kind of see in the sound waves or whatever, the waveform, you see that it picks up right here. So that became the moment where I transition, I fade to black. I end with the shot of me, pointing the camera. So then it feels like we're transitioning into what I'm shooting. And then here, this became the first shot because for 2 reasons. One, this is one of my better like cinematic shots that I took of a golden monkey in Uganda. And then 2, this shot right here was also from that same bamboo forest. So just to kind of connect the dots and continue showing the bamboos from one shot to the next. So And then here I was just kind of choosing primates initially, or like monkeys and primates and all that, because since this is the first shot of the golden monkey, I figure the next few shots can be of the same species-esque type. Just to keep the thought process I always have is usually with one clip to the next, I want to have enough of a connective tissue going from one to the next. There should be some kind of overlap in terms of similarity or cohesiveness. So Mustafa says there's a rise in the track. Yes. What's the shot / photo you're most proud of? Oh, that's a what is the shot that I'm most proud of? Well, let's see if there's any in this footage, or at least for the videos. Let's see. So we got the golden monkey, then we got this chimpanzee, then we've got this chimp in the rain, and then we got more chimpanzee, gorilla. So here was an obvious transition where I just wanted to show two shots of this chimp and the gorilla when they're yawning or with their mouth, you know, doing the aggressive pose. And then we go into a baby gorilla looking at the camera, looking at the camera. And then we switch over into cats. So I have the lion, baby lion, climbing the tree, in the mist. And then here I had another connection where you see the two. So now we went from single subject to double subject. Plus we had these two siblings that are kind of like, you know, bonding, and they're like close to each other, touching each other. So then I thought the next transition based on the clips that I had was the shot of these two elephants, because obviously they're fighting, so it's not the same kind of brotherly love, let's say, but it at least had that same transition of two animals basically touching roughly in the same location here. And then elephants. Then we have close-up of an elephant eye. Oh, here we go. So Aurora, I think I can answer your question, because at this point I have like a series of photos that I captured, and then I just do it as like a montage, right? So let's see, I'm assuming one of these must be my favorite. I assume it's including your intro. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't read that part. There are quite a few really dangerous animals. Yes, most wild animals can be dangerous to humans, I would say. But like I'm always not always, but generally speaking, I am safe. All right, let's see. So this was a really cool shot. It was a close-up of an elephant in, I think, Sri Lanka or India. Possibly India. And then this is actually a still, like a freeze frame from a video clip, and then I edited it in Lightroom, and I made it turn super crazy looking, which I was really proud of this one for sure. This was one of my first shots back in the day of this elephant in Sri Lanka. Then we have this red deer in Ireland, Killarney National Park or something like that. Tiger in India. What do you call it, a tortoise or turtle? I always get it mixed up. Whichever one of those two in Zanzibar. We had this monkey in, I think this was in either India or Nepal. It was one of those two. This was Zanzibar. This is Rwanda. You know what, Aurora, just because I don't want to leave you hanging, and just to give you an answer, because clearly I don't have a photo that immediately comes to mind. I can give you an answer for the video in a second. For photo, this might be my favorite or the one I'm most proud of, because this was my first trip, not only to Kenya, but also the first time I ever went on a trip with like a professional gear for wildlife. I was borrowing a Nikon D5, I think, like the action camera with the 400mm 2.8 lens. And this was right around sunset. We got out of the Jeep because the giraffe was far enough away. And then, yeah, I just kind of situated myself. I took a bunch of shots, but this one in particular, it spoke to me. And I enjoyed how I edited it. And then I'm a huge fan of silhouettes anyways. So to have this crazy animal, as far as like animals that you want silhouettes at sunset, I don't think you can beat the giraffe. The giraffe is almost as good as it gets, just because they tower over the landscape. So it was really cool to get this shot. Plus you were able to see the birds that were chilling, like they were basically having a sunset watch party on the giraffe's neck. And of course you got that one that takes off into the air to add a little bit of a flavor and balance to the shot. So I thought that was, I was very happy with this one. So we'll go with this one for now. That's a really cool one, especially with the birds. Yes, yes, I think so. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. I got this printed out on a big thing. They put it in like this gallery once, and it looks so cool. I'm so happy. This was a cool shot. This was also from Kenya. The leopard after it hunted. This one's a sad story. I think they have dinner on there with a nice view. Yeah. It's like that's also where you learn about this whole symbiotic relationship that exists all throughout the animal kingdom, and this is no different. Where basically the birds. Hello. Thank you for the sub, Theozist. Theo, the Ozist. Theozisty. The Ozist says, amazing shot. Thank you very much, and thank you for the sub. Oh, I appreciate it very much. We are slowly building up our YouTube channel, also our Twitch. Right now I am streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, so I appreciate wherever you're watching me. Yeah. The Oz. It's Oz. It seems so obvious now that you said it. The Ozist. Okay. It's Oz. Is Oz short for Osman? Do I know one or two Osmans? But thank you very much, Oz. I appreciate it. And what's happening? We got Fedorevsky in the chat. Thanks for being here, guys. I didn't expect to be going through this video, but hey, you know what? This is the fun of streaming, so. You said, yep. All right, Osman, or the Oz. I'm just going through some of the photos. So Aurora had asked, what's my favorite photo? We'll go with this one for now. It's definitely one that is very memorable to me. And then, yeah, apparently the birds, they hang out and then they eat all the, whatever, like the bugs or insects, the ticks or fleas or whatever that are on the giraffe. So then they get free meal and the giraffe gets a free cleaning. So there you go. This one's a sad story. I believe the name of the cheetah is Amani. And then she had these 2 cubs. Was it 3 cubs? 2 or 3 cubs. I don't remember now. And this was on that same first trip that I went to Kenya. Parasites. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we got super lucky. These cheetah cubs, they came right up to the Jeep. It was such a crazy experience. I think I have some videos on my iPhone, but they came right up to the Jeep. And yeah, cheetah cubs are one of the most adorable baby animals you can find. And they look so different than when they're adults, because they're like more like the black fur, and it looks like they got a mohawk on the on their head. And anyways, we got to spend the afternoon with these cubs. After the trip ended, in like I think within a week of after I left, apparently I never got the full story, but either through some human interaction causing issues or whatever the case was, a male lion encountered the cubs, and so the lions will basically, they view it as territorial. So then he ultimately killed the cubs. And not to get a little too gruesome or anything, but apparently afterwards, I was told that the mom ate the cubs, right, for like sustenance. It's one of those like once they were no longer with us, it just became like you have to survive, right? So the wild is very crazy. The wild is it's one of those, it's very raw. And so that's one of the things where it's like, if you're interested in doing wildlife photography, if you're interested in going on these safaris, it's not that you have to have a strong stomach for it. It's not like you're gonna see that always, but almost every one of these like Jeep safaris or safaris I've been on, you will see some kind of hunt. You'll see the dead carcass of something, or you'll see some moment where it's like, oh man, it's not what you see in the Lion King or whatever, So anyways, it is the circle of life, as they say. But thankfully I was able to capture this photo as a nice way to remember at least the good experience that I had. Deadly cheetah here. This was a fun shot. This lion actually was moments from like charging at me, apparently, because then the driver was like, we need to go, because you could see it in the eyes of the lion here. It was getting ready to pounce. And because the Jeep that I was on at the time, basically the sides of the Jeep pop down, so you can basically stick your body outside of the Jeep, like flat, so that way you're lying flat on the bed of the Jeep, and that way you get a very low angle photo shot angle, right? And so that's what I was doing. Half my body was outside the Jeep, lying down to get this shot. And then the lion sees me now, because I'm separated from the Jeep a bit more. So then it like made eye contact with me, and it like lowered its body, and then you can see in its eyes as well, everything was like, it was like in this kind of fight mode. And so then the guide saw it right away and told the driver like we got to dip. So then we just raced out of there. But I did at least get the shot. So what gear do you use? Hello, Katzenellenbogen. Katzenellenbogen. Man, today we got some cool names coming through. Katzenellenbogen. I normally shoot with this camera here is the Nikon ZR. That's my new primary camera because I've shifted more into videography, cinematography, filmmaking. So this Nikon ZR is my go-to camera now. Then over here, for this shot, which I need to readjust, I lost focus. Blah, 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 blah. This camera here is the Nikon Z9 with a 35mm 1.2 lens attached. And then this camera over here is the Nikon Z6 III with a 50mm f1.2 lens attached. So before I got the ZR, my two go-to was the Nikon Z9 for like my wildlife, my main powerhouse. And then my secondary camera was the Nikon Z6 III for like the day-to-day shooting, for the selfie shots, vlogging type moments. Now I have to figure this out, but the ZR for sure is my primary. And then for lens for wildlife, so like these kinds of shots, usually I'm shooting with the 400mm f2.8, which is a super, super expensive, but really amazing piece of glass. And I've been enjoying the 85 1.2 a lot for wildlife as well. And then the 35 is going to be my new favorite, I think. Aurora, is filming and photography your hobby / passion, or do you also make a living with it? I have slowly started to make a living with it, but I don't recommend it for everyone. Basically, a few years ago, there was a juncture where I had to decide, like, do I put more time into corporate world and try to survive that space, or do I take time away from corporate and try to see if I can make my passion into a profession? And so I chose the latter. And so for the past 2.5 years, I've been out of corporate. And thankfully, I had enough savings. I had enough money to kind of say like, okay, I'll burn through all my savings if needed. I just want to keep pursuing this passion. So that's what I've been doing for the past couple years. And while 85% of my time, I've been trying to focus on building my brand, traveling the world, grabbing footage, and then now trying to apply it into my YouTube channel and live streaming. A few times I would try to figure out how to do more business-like stuff. So I would do a few freelancing things, but I don't try to advertise it that much. And I started organizing group tours, so you can join me on my travels. So if you go to my website, you can actually, I think there's a link to go to my website. But if you go to my website, you can see what tours I'm running. So right now I'm running a tour to Uganda for the primates, the gorillas, the chimpanzees, the shoebill storks as well. And that's going to be in April. And then every once in a while, I do workshops for Nikon. I'm like a creator for Nikon. And yeah, just a few other random projects here and there. So, Rachel, hello. Welcome back. Rachel says, hey, everyone. Happy Monday, Rachel. And Katzenellenbogen says, where were these taken? South Africa? No, this one was in Kenya. Basically, I'm just going through like a montage of photos. This is my intro. So I'm just breaking down the intro video that you see that plays at the start of every one of my streams or on my YouTube channel. You can find it on my YouTube channel as well. I have it pinned as like my main YouTube video, I think, that shows up for people. It's like, what did I call it? It's like 3 minutes, a 1 year of travel in 3 minutes, basically. So this was in Kenya as well. Kenya on a separate trip. Kenya. This was in Italy, I think. Yeah, Italy. Also in Italy. This is where we were hiking up the mountain looking for the ibex. Another ibex shot. This was in Sri Lanka. Also in Sri Lanka, the sloth bear. I was so happy I got this shot because sloth bears are they're very hard to spot because they're very shy. But it had just finished raining. And so after the rain, these sloth bears become super active because that's where all the bugs, they feast on bugs, right? So all the bugs are coming out of the soil, like the worms and whatever else. So then the sloth bear is like, it's like feast time. So I got to see this one wandering around and get some cool shots. This was also in Sri Lanka. This was in Finland, in like a hide experience. Also in Finland, this is a lone wolf that was going by. I can't wait to go back to Finland at some point. Right now I'm planning a trip to Norway. So that's the thing I wanted to chat about on today's stream as well. This was also in Finland. This was in Madagascar. I need to do another trip to Madagascar because this is before I was like, I had all the wildlife photography gear and stuff like that. So I would love to go back there for wildlife. But yeah. This was India for the tiger. This was also India. I think this was Kabini National Park. Kabini Forest National Park or something. This was in Norway. Oh yeah, speaking of Norway. So I'm trying to plan a trip to Norway for basically in like a couple weeks from now. So crunch time is coming up, but I'm going to try to do a sled dog expedition. And my hope is to live stream while I'm on the sled dog. So I'm being a bit ambitious. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that I'm trying to put together in terms of the gear, the tech, and also the itinerary for the trip. But if all goes well, I'll be spending maybe like 5-6 days doing like a sled dog multi-day expedition. So, and I'll try to film all of it properly. And then if I could live stream the actual sled dog itself as we're traveling through Norway, the Northern Lights and all that. Oh man, that'll be fun. This was in Jordan. This is where they filmed The Martian in Wadi Rum. This is Ireland on a road trip I was doing, a solo road trip just throughout. This is also Ireland near the Gap of Dunlow, I think it was. And Ireland again. This was South Africa. So this is Cape Town. What did they call it? I think it's called the Lion's Head. I did this early morning hike. I remember I got so many people warning me not to do this hike because they're like, yo, Cape Town, it's very dangerous. And I got locals telling me like, you got to be careful. Like, don't put your bags in the passenger seat. Put it in the trunk because they'll smash the window and grab your shit and then go. So it was kind of funny. Not funny, but Cape Town, one of the most beautiful cities I've ever visited. And I was like, I would love to live here. But then the reputation in the city is apparently like, yo, you got to be careful. There's a lot of thievery and like sketchy stuff. I was like, oh, okay. Which is a shame. But this is Los Angeles. Aurora says, hopefully you get some Aurora. It's in your name. Aurora Borealis shots then. Yeah, I would love to. I've gotten one shot of the Northern Lights from the plane when I moved to Dubai. So I live in Dubai. I'm from the States. And I moved to Dubai years back, and on the flight, the Northern Lights were visible, and the cabin crew, she saw my cameras and stuff. So then she woke me up and was like, you need to go check out the Northern Lights. And so I got this really cool shot through the plane window. But yeah, this is Portugal. This is Norway again. I think it's Trondheim or somewhere. This was... What's the name of it? Oh my god, it starts with an M. Myanmar. Man, I want to go back to Myanmar, but I think right after I did this trip, then all the crazy things happened where like I think there was like a civil war or there's something crazy that happened there. A lot of conflict, unfortunately. I don't know if things have gotten better there or not, but I mean, hopefully yes, but you don't know. Aurora said that's so pretty. Thank you very much. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. This was Istanbul. So I did a solo trip and I just was doing a lot of just random photos. Katzenellenbogen says, how heavy is a 400 2.8? I rented a Sony 300 2.8. It was too heavy for me. Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm like, yo, they're heavy. And the 400 2.8 for the camera for my first few trips, that was even heavier because it was part of the DSLR camera. The 400 2.8 for my new mirrorless camera is, I think, like a pound or two lighter, but it's still heavy. You feel it over time for sure. I'll show you. Hold on. It's a beautiful, beautiful lens though. Okay, so this is the Nikon, or I don't know why it's called Nikkor, Nikkor. I don't know why they just don't call it the Nikon lens, but this is the, yeah, you can see here, right? The Nikkor 400 2.8. It's got a built-in teleconverter. So I think the proper name of this is like the 400mm f2.8 TC VRS lens. So yeah, it's got a built-in 1.4x teleconverter. So if I unlock this and if I flip this switch, basically it'll build, zoom in 1.4x, or become a 560mm lens, I think. And yeah, it's oh, sorry, where'd it go? It's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy, but it's also light enough that I can handle it with one hand. It's just not for an extended period of time, right? So this is what it looks like. You can imagine with the camera here. It's kind of a cool perspective, but yeah, it's a beast of a lens. I'm actually curious. I don't actually know if this one is lighter than the Sony. I feel like Nikon has a reputation of being slightly heavier with the lenses, like with the glasses and stuff that are used. So my assumption is going to be that Sony might be a bit lighter. I'm just going to go off of that assumption with no real logic to back it up. But this is my baby. So I got my 2 cats and I got my lens. Not sure which one I care more about. I'm just kidding. Let's see my cat grooming. Are you not afraid your cats will accidentally smash down one of your lenses? I think it has happened in the past. Was it a lens or a camera? Something where it did knock down one of my gear. I forget what it was. But I am always afraid of it. I've done my best to kind of wall it off so they can't like really jump onto here. So like, yeah, I do my best so they just can't go there. And you know what? It's been long enough now in this new apartment. I say new, but I've been here for over a year. So far, no issues. Knock on wood. Maybe not the super heavy one, but the other ones on the shelf. Yeah, I'll show you again. But the thing is, all these lenses are super heavy, and they are far enough away from the ledge that it shouldn't be a problem. They are very heavy lenses. So I've just kind of like stacked them all close together. So I just try to make it impossible for my cat to really jump up there. And like when I'm not at the desk, I put this down. So this whole cat bed, there's a way to drop it down essentially. So it just goes from this flat angle and then it tilts down. So then she can't jump up here. And then every freaking night, without fail, before I go to sleep, I then put like a whole death trap all over this empty table here, this empty desk. I literally stack a bunch of random stuff so that my cat can't really hop up here. It's just the life of a cat owner, I think. I don't know. Until someone gives me a better solution. So like legit, one of them is up down here, right? So I'll like put this thing here, So it becomes like a little, okay, where can I place it? It just makes it that much more difficult for my cat to not, like, she'll have to think twice before she's like, oh, I can jump up onto this desk without any problems. So I'll put this, I'll put I got these random like plastic things that used to be where the hard drive comes in. So I keep these guys so that I could create barriers all over. It's just, if you ever want to know, if you ever question if I love my cats, this is my proof. You think I want to put up a barrier on my desk every single night? You think I want to do that? Hells no. All right, give me a second. Let's put the fan on here. But thank you for the questions. Hopefully it's entertaining enough. Hopefully you're getting a good sense of... Oh my god, hold on. I can show you guys something. I was doing a bit of spring cleaning or winter cleaning or whatever it is. and I found this little bamboo hat that I got in Vietnam, but it's not a bamboo hat for me, okay? Which cat can I show it on? I'll try it on Kimbap. Hold on. But I lost one of the things to tie it, unfortunately. Yeah, I lost the string. I lost the string that, you know, connects it. So unfortunately, I can't put it on her. I'll have to find some new string or something. Or not on him, but can you imagine? Look at this thing. It's a freaking... I can make my cats Asian. Hold on. There's a way I can make this look good, I think. I'll find some string. What are you doing with your cats during your travels? I have what, a night routine? Yeah. Hold on, oh, nice. It doesn't look too bad. What are you doing with the cats? It's I used to have a friend. I had a few friends that lived in the same apartment building as me back in the day. So then they would just take care of my cats when I was gone, and I would return the favor by giving them chocolates or something when I return. But then I moved to a new part of Dubai, and so now I hire a cat sitter. So there are a few services out here. So then someone will come like twice a day usually or something like that. Feed the cats and all that. And the good news is, and this is why I got cats instead of dogs, it's like cats, they're like super independent. You don't have to do anything. You know, you just got to clean out their shitter every once in a while and make sure the food is out there for them. Otherwise, they just chill. So look at this guy. Anyways, so this was a shot. I might as well just go through the rest of this. This is a shot from San Francisco. It's one of my favorite shots. Actually, I have this as a tattoo on my arm. So basically, as I got super into tattoos after COVID or after lockdown, right? So in the year 2020, and I ended up getting so invested in it, so obsessed. I had 0 tattoos before then, and now it's like half my body's covered in tattoos. And I got all my tattoos in like the span of 3 years, basically, except for this hand tattoo, which I got recently from one of my artists that crashed with me for a while. So basically on my left arm, I would look for different artists each time and basically just be like, hey, if you look through any of my photos, if there's a photo that is your favorite photo, can we make a tattoo based off of that photo? So tell me what's your favorite photo, and then let's do something creative with it. Because my whole concept for my left arm was I wanted the left arm to just be initially I thought like Polaroids, but like just a amalgamation of all my photos, or the best photos that I've captured from my travels around the world. So it just becomes like a memory, if you will. And what's up, Jimmy? Jimmy's back, says, what's up, let's go. I hope I learned something today, not just save money to buy a ZR. Well, hopefully you learned something today as well. I don't know, I'll do my best as your teacher, as your instructor for today. Cats need stimulation as much as dogs. Yeah, my cats, they can play all day. You can even get automated shitters that will last like 2 weeks in theory. I haven't committed to getting one of those automated shitters yet. And unfortunately, I have automated feeders, but I can't use that as well because this little guy, he will eat and continue eating as much as there's food. And if he eats too fast, he also throws up. And the smallest serving that my feeder gives is still too much. So I just have to hand feed them and monitor them all the time. Oh yeah, so what I was saying is this arm became like a mix of my photos. So this was a photo of my cat, and then we turned into something creative. Then I had like, this is a mix of 2 photos. It got turned into a creative thing. But then the one that I'm just showing right now, this guy here, this Russian artist, he was like, oh, I like this photo that you took in San Francisco. So then my thought was like, hey, is there a creative way that, because his skill was being able to literally take this exact photo and replicate it as a tattoo. So I was like, okay, that's really badass. But can we then add something to it? So I had seen some artists on probably Pinterest or something where they do like this brush stroke. It's like a painting, and then in the brush stroke, it's like an alternate dimension. So you're getting like a visual into another dimension in the same location. So my thought was, okay, if we have this photo of the Golden Gate Bridge, can we have a brush stroke that cuts across the main part of that bridge? And in that part, it's like an alternate portal. We're going to see a visual into the world that is in Big Hero 6, that movie. With, so where it's like San Francisco. So basically, let me see if I can show it. So then here you see that photo, and then there's a brush, there's like a paint stroke, and in that paint stroke, it's like the same exact point of view, but instead you're getting this like portal into San Francisco. So it's like that Japanese version of San Francisco. So even the Golden Gate turns into one of those like Torii Gate looking things. And at the very edge, you see the 2 main characters from the movie flying out of the portal. So anyways, nobody asked, but since we were on that photo, it's been a while, I haven't seen that. That's the story behind it. Okay, let's get back to that. Yo, what is happening, Cyronius? Hello, hello. What's going on? Happy Monday. Thanks for being here. Oh yeah, I had some questions for you at some point, Cyronius. I know I DM'd it to you, but I might talk about it on stream actually in a second, because I'm planning a trip to Norway. If all goes well, I'll be trying to go there in like literally 2 to 3 weeks from now. And my thought was going dog sledding for multiple days, but I might try to live stream from the dog sled if possible, if I'm not missing all the necessary gear. But before we do that, I was going down memory lane and I'm breaking down my intro video and some of the footage as well as the photos, where it's from, how I made the video, all that. So this is all part of like that photo montage in the intro video. So it just gets faster, faster, and faster. So you can see here, each clip is starting to get faster and faster, or shorter and shorter. So it's like that, and then you hear the sound effect when it's like more turning into like a machine gun effect. So I was just kind of lining it up. This was shot in Poland. I was traveling with a close friend of mine, and this is like one of the early like a sunrise. So we stayed up all night just walking around Poland. Warsaw, is that the main capital or something? I think it was Warsaw. Something feels wrong. I think it was Warsaw. And this street happened to have one of those cleaning trucks go by, and it sprayed down the entire street. And so right as sunrise was kicking in, it was like the perfect, nice reflection off the asphalt. So then I did a quick little photo shoot with her, and this was one of my favorite shots I took. This was also in Myanmar, and I'm a huge fan of like, you know, lights and shadows for sure. And there's this word called, there's a Japanese word called komorebi. And I learned this word because of this photo, basically, because as I was doing some research afterward. So there's the concept of scattered light. And in Japanese, it's called komorebi. So it's like when you have the sun rays peeking through whatever the subjects are and casting this kind of sunlight effect, the scattered light. So komorebi is one of my favorite things to photograph. If I ever see that moment, I'm like, I need to capture it. And thankfully there was this dude that was walking just right in the center of that spotlight. And then I did a lot of editing at the time to kind of make it feel more contrasted or like more visually apparent. Someone at my church said their son-in-law did video work for the Iditarod 1 year. What is that? I feel like I've heard that word before. Iditarod? Idiot Abroad? Now that's a good show. If I could do video work for the Idiot Abroad, that would have been great. Cyroni says, for the enclosure, I'm chatting with the local 3D printing company who might be able to make the case for me for much cheaper. By the way, I'm possibly planning a trip to Norway for beginning March. Wait, what? Wait, I'm confused. Wait, are you copying what I said maybe? Is that why? Or are you doing... Oh, this must be what I said to you, right? Hold on. Oh, okay, that's what I said to you. I was so confused because I was like, wait, Cyrus, you're doing a trip too? No way. To answer your question, the setup process only takes an afternoon. It's mostly getting all the parts and cell plans you need. Yeah, it's just the problem is like the case that I was trying to purchase, it's like super expensive, right? It's like 1,500 pounds, I think, plus I have to wait 10 to 22 days. But there's some warehouses here that apparently can do like the 3D printing and make a custom case for me so that I can fit like a Rodecaster video. I can use it for live streaming. So when I travel, I would have that case. And then, yeah, you guys can see me live streaming wherever I go. So that's the hope. Cat and Candle says it's the dog races in Canada. What's on the left of the tree with the 2 holes? Oh, this is just literally 2 holes. As in, it's just these are just a bunch of trees. And I'm assuming, yeah, you can't really see it from this, but it's either like a fallen tree or a tree trunk or some thick branches. And there's just some openings that the sunlight was cutting through. Rachel says it's a big event in Alaska. I did video work for them. Oh, okay. That's why you're saying the dog sledding. Gotcha. Yeah, I think I've heard that word before. The Iditarod or something. I would love to go to Alaska. That's still on my list. And as a wildlife photographer, it's a shame. It's a disgrace that I haven't been to Alaska yet. Or Yosemite. I need to go there. Is it a ruin? Oh, no. I think this is all trees. I'm pretty sure this was all trees. Just like it was like layers and layers of trees, so it stacks up to look like it's thicker. But yeah. Cyrone says Iditarod equals sled races. Gotcha. Yeah, I've been doing some CAD modeling for my own use. Nice, man. You got you Cyrone. I mean, you in particular, but people who are very handy, who know how to change tires, that kind of stuff. You know, it's like I'm impressed. Sending a couple of images to you. Okay, let me check it out in a second. This is a photo. A friend of mine was visiting, and we did a photo shoot in Dubai. There's this nice place called Creek Harbor, and you can see the city line with the Burj Khalifa. So I did some fun shots for her there. This was this photo. It didn't. I don't know if saying it won an award is too strong of a word, but this photo ended up being featured in a book in Dubai for like the 50th anniversary of Dubai. They had, I'm assuming 50 photos, maybe more, but they had a series of photos from photographers around that they showcased in the book. So this photo ended up making it in there. So that was cool. It was just the camel gang, camel squad. Oh, and then we turned this into an emote on my streams. So it's a funny picture. Yeah, it was a cool picture. It's like, you know, camels look goofy already. And with all their crazy eyelashes, it looked like a boy band, basically. And like it looks like they're singing to me. This one's got a little bit of straw in its mouth. It's just, yeah, it was a wacky shot. Especially because not all camels have good reputations. You know, they spit at you. Yo, thank you, Aurora. I appreciate the follow. Yes, we're building back up on Twitch. Yeah, I appreciate it. YouTube and Twitch are basically like the 2 main platforms that I'm hoping to consistently build and consistently stream onto. So just as an FYI, usually I do my best to stream about 4 to 5 times a week if I'm not traveling. So the month of March, there's a chance I'm traveling literally the entire month. But I'm going to try my best to do these, like, one, I'm trying to bring my whole live streaming kit with me, so then hopefully you guys can watch it live. But then 2, I'll do my best to still find ways to, you know, share content with you guys during that month. Cyrone says, sent you more pictures than expected, just painting a bit of a picture on what I've been developing for my IRL setup. Oh, okay. Let me check it out in a second then. Maple is in the chat. Maple says, Kavai's IRL stream out on a frozen lake in Norway right now is going well, by the way. Oh, snap. Wait, is he streaming right now? Because speaking of which, Maple, yeah, because Kavai, he had recommended a dog sledding trip in Norway. And he actually gave me the contact to one, I think he said it's like his boss or someone he worked with in the past. So I had a good chat with this person, and right now it's in the works. Hopefully, if the pricing and the logistics works out, my goal is to travel to Norway to do the dog sledding. And I might even meet Kavai, possibly. But I want to do like a multi-day dog sledding expedition, and I'm going to film it all. Hopefully I can interview, it sounds like I can interview the guy and just get a bit more of a story behind the tradition of like the mushers and like this whole dog sledding culture and the history of it. Oh, I said it again. And the more ambitious part is, and you know, hopefully with the likes of you, Maple, and Cyronius here, hopefully I'm doing the right things to get all the kit necessary to do a live stream, to live stream the actual dog sledding, because the Starlink, it's available in Norway, so maybe I can have the guy or Kavai even like purchase it on my behalf, and then you know I pick it up. And the guy I was talking to, he said he knows someone who hooked up a Starlink to the back of a horse in Mongolia, and it worked. Maybe not for a live stream, but like the connection worked. So I'm hoping then if I get a Starlink, hook it up to the back of the dog sled, and then worst case scenario, I have an Osmo Pocket 3, and I believe that can connect via Wi-Fi, that RTMP thing, and I can stream from an Osmo Pocket. And then best case, I can use my ZR and use like a wireless, or have a wired one, but probably like a wireless connection, and then try to stream. And then you guys can watch and join me as we're freaking going cross country with the dogs and then Northern Lights and all that. That's a shot that would be put in an animal calendar your grandma would send you. Yeah. Hey, listen, if that means that they paid money for the photo, absolutely. I accept. This is a photo of a dog in Turkey, one of the street dogs, and it had the heterochromia eyes. I was so obsessed with like finding animals with mixed color eyes. So I spent like an afternoon just following this dog around. And then this one, instead of having mixed colored eyes, it had one eye. So it had lost an eye just because it looks like such a badass cat. It probably got into one too many fights. And so I ran into this cat in the roof. Like this, literally I was on the roof of some random building in Cappadocia, Turkey. And this cat, we'd had a little standoff. And how badass is this cat, you know? So... and then this was in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka. This was Rwanda. This was in Madagascar. It ended up being a cooler shot than I expected, but basically there's this long tunnel. It's like a road, and you know, I forget if it was dust kicked up or it was just the right time of day. But then you can see as these two locals, they're walking forward, and then in the distance, in the dust, you see these two dogs. And, you know, it looks like they're greeting each other. So it was just like an interesting framing. Yeah, so this ended up being a fun shot for me. This is that same tunnel. And then it's just a dude running. And then this one, if you go to my website, I sell my presets. This photo ended up being one of the ones that I feature prominently, where you can see all my presets being applied to the same photo. So you get like a good example of if my presets work. Actually, let's check it out. Yobel Prize. Wait, I think if I type in, I should promote myself better. Presets. There we go. Yes. So let's see here. Presets. I need to sell my LUTs. So yeah, here you go. So here I'm on my website. Whoops. And then I did this whole thing. Oh my God. Thank God to ChatGPT, because I don't know how to code or anything. I was using Webflow, but it took me way too much time to figure this out. But I got this set up where I had it would just keep transitioning between photo after photo. So you're seeing like how all of my 100, 100 presets basically, I don't know if it was all of them, but you can see how it keeps changing up the look. So, and then you can see some of the presets here. So you guys should definitely buy my presets if you're into photo editing and stuff. Post sets. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone talks about the presets. No one ever talks about the post sets. Anywho, I think we're almost done. This was in Madagascar. This was in Vietnam. This was Kenya. And this was Dubai. This was that was one of the coolest shots I took for sure. And so Aurora, to fully answer your question, so I think I shared with you what my favorite photo is. I think my favorite video that I've captured right now is not in this thing, because it was recent. It's the shot of the chimpanzee. So that whole sequence that I have of the chimpanzee walking forward is my current favorite. Just like that close up as you see it walking through the forest. That's probably my favorite video that I've captured. So yeah. Anyways, so I think we're all caught up. Thank you guys for enjoying my little walkthrough of this intro video. Yeah, if you would like to check it out in its full, I mean, I play it at the start of every one of my streams, but if you want to just see the video and you want to support the channel, you can check it out on my YouTube channel, and then you can hit that like button, leave a comment, tell me what your favorite moment is, all that kind of stuff. And speaking of, in furtherance of promoting my channel, I released the very first episode of a new series on my YouTube channel. It's called Behind the Lens series, okay? But yeah, basically, I've been talking about this for some time now with you guys on the stream, and I've mentioned how there's like a missing piece in my content creation library on YouTube and like the structure of what I create. And because on one end, I've got my cinema stuff, right? Like the travel vlogs, the trailers, travel moments, where hopefully you get a nice insight into what I capture through my lens. And then I've started to do more talking head videos, right? Like the product reviews and things like that. But not often, right? It's not often enough that it's consistently there. And then consistently, I've been live streaming. So you are able to see, multiple, we're on day 126 of live streaming, right? Since August. So you can see me talking in front of the camera in a very raw, unfiltered way. But the problem is it's multiple hours long. It's not, unless you're someone who enjoys live streams like you guys, the average person probably doesn't have the attention span to sift through all that. So the thing I figured was missing was, can I do more bite-sized versions of me talking to the camera in a more casual way without necessarily always feeling like I'm selling something, but just like maybe sometimes I have a golden nugget of some insight or some story that I'm sharing that you guys find interesting. If I can just start, extracting that and turning it into its own set of videos, then hopefully that's a nice way for people to really get to know me, and hopefully they'll want to watch other videos of mine in the process, and maybe even join the live streams. So the first episode is now out on my YouTube channel. So give me a second as I find it. And I need to freaking promote myself. I should have done this before I started the stream. I need to add the link to my thing. Yobel Prize. And there's the video. Okay. Let me post this everywhere. Boom. So if you haven't seen this video and you have 4 minutes, I think it's like just over 4 minutes long. If you've got 4 minutes and change, feel free to click on that video. Excuse me. Check it out. Hear my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Make sure to like that and leave a comment and all that fun stuff. So thank you very much. I will love you forever. Exclamation mark mid-sets. What would be a mid-set? I don't know. All right. So I just kind of hopped into this. I was meaning to do some other stuff first. But since Cyroni, since you are still here, as we talk about Norway dog sledding. Norway dog sledding. This is what I want to do. And so right now, like I said, I had a good chat with the contact that Kavai put me in touch with, and he runs these types of dog sledding expeditions. By the way, he also mentioned that he's running an expedition in Svalbard later in the year, like I think around May. And so that would be really cool if I can even join that one. But all these things cost money, right? So, but we'll see if I can join him on this. And so right now I'm just trying to put together a shot list, but also like the tech list of what would be required if I want to film this, because realistically it's just myself. It's very last minute. So if this trip goes through, I don't have a film crew. So I have to do the normal thing of trying to figure out how do I make sure I film all the key moments. Also, I have a DJI Mini 4 Pro. So maybe I'll bring the drone with me if it's allowed. So I can just film a few moments, I don't know. Man, I need to improve my drone skills. And then the thought process was similar to this kind of video here. Oh, wait. I didn't see this beginning part. Interesting. Okay, this is opening up new opportunities for me. Because I thought, okay, so when I spoke with the guy, and my understanding of these like sled dogs is that basically you've got, you can either be seated in the sled, or you could be standing to do the actual driving of the sled. So my thought was like, if I'm holding a camera, that's going to be too difficult for me to drive the sled. So maybe I can drive at small portions of the trip, so that way I can focus on filming. But that would mean that I would have to have my guide in the same sled as me, as opposed to like two separate sleds. And then I was thinking like, okay, if I'm seated to film, wouldn't I be too low to the ground? So then I wouldn't be able to see, you know, over the dog. Like basically I would see the ass of the dog in front of me. It's like, that's not a good angle, right? Whereas like this guy's angle, this is much better, because like this is a little bit more top-down approach, but this way you can see all the way out into the distance. You see all the lines of dogs. So it's a bit more of like a nice perspective for point of view. So that was my concern, was like, how do I have a camera at a higher position? So I was thinking maybe I need to stick a tripod or a monopod and just have it fixed upwards and hope it's not shaky, which is going to be another problem. So that was like one thought. Realistically, using an action camera is the easiest, but I'm not sure. Presets that are mid, aka lame. Oh man, mine are pro sets, man. Top sets. Fed says you need to ask Matti and Teppo if they can be your crew. Do they live in Norway? Oh no, I think you guys mentioned. I think you said, does one of them live in Iceland or Finland, and then the other one lives in Canada or something? I don't know. But let's be real, Fed. I would ask them to be a part of their crew, they wouldn't be a part of mine. But this would be definitely something I would love to film, and if I could live stream this, that'd be even better, right? So then my thinking here, Cyronius, is that if I were to live stream this in the bare bones way, where let's say I'm able to get a Starlink, and let's say I'm just using the Osmo Pocket 3, I'm assuming I would still need that Bella Box system or a live view, right? But that, you know, obviously it's way more expensive. But I would need that kind of encoder to still sit in the middle, and then have it relayed to my OBS back home or something. So I'm assuming regardless, I'll need a Bella Box thing or a kit. But otherwise, technically, it should be possible to do this. So Starlink works there, check. If I end up getting the right encoder, like a Bella Box or a live view, check. Do I have the cameras to film this? Check. All right, well then, what am I missing besides the trip? So the only issue I mentioned is that I'm condensing the timeline, because if this goes through, I would be traveling basically at the beginning of March. So we're already at 16th of March. So I've got like 2.5 weeks or so to get my shit together, to see if I can get a case for the Rodecaster, build it out and everything. And I already spoke with someone at that 3D shop that might be able to print it for me, or like print the parts and then put it together. Fed says Teppo is in Finland, which is right by where you are. If he lives in the north of Finland, that is. Oh, you know what? I forgot to send an email. That's on my to-do list, that I need to like email those guys just to be like, just to get my name in their radar and be like, I would love to work with you guys in some capacity at some point. We'll see. But that would be cool. That would be kind of cool, right? If they were to join. If I was like, hey, I'm doing this trip last minute. Are you guys bored? Would you guys want to be on a sled, like a sled dog? And I would film you guys as well. What do you think? They'll be like, yeah, man, we've been watching your content for years. I was like, oh, thanks. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I think if it's not beginning March, then I will do this eventually, right? Because, yeah, right now my initial pilot was obviously in Africa. I was thinking Kenya, where Starlink is operational. You would have this Jeep where you can rig up everything properly. And there's no reason in my head why this concept can't work. It's just a matter of cost, right? Because obviously it's not cheap to travel, spend days in an expensive lodge, go on these private tours and all that kind of stuff. So those are the things that I'm working on behind the scenes to negotiate on pricing, or seeing if I can find people who would partner with me to make this possible. But in terms of the tech stuff, and again, shout out to Cyronius and Maple Glades and a few others, but it does sound like I'm not asking for the world here. And I've seen now a number of live streamers who did do something similar in parts of Africa. So yeah. And then I could film something like this. So yeah, anyways, that's my main thing. So one thing is, I'm not sure, for example, how I'm juggling a few things right now, but this is definitely like one of those top priority things where like I have no choice. It's crunch time. I don't have a lot of time to figure this out. So I am spending more time off stream now, just trying to research and make this happen. So potentially I might not stream for as long every day, just as I'm, you know, mapping this out and all that. Rachel says, got to put that GoPro on the lead dog's harness too. Even better. You remember, I got the new camera. Okay, hold on. Let's go grab it. I think it's fully charged. So. Boom. We got that DJI Osmo Nano. So this one, I was thinking, because I saw a photo or video on their website where, yeah, you literally can stick this on like the collar of your pet. So then imagine, yeah, like the lead dog with one of these guys just plowing through everything. That would be so crazy, right? Yeah, so I was thinking at least using one of these to hook up to the front dog. And then I've got like I have an Insta360 Go 2 that I can attach. Now it's going to be super cold. That's one thing I didn't think about. So I do have a GoPro Hero 12 that I could use, and I did film some things with it in the past. I have my Insta360 X4 that I could stick on a selfie stick somewhere. One dog needs a 360 camera too. Wait, would a 360 camera work on a dog though? Like at such a low angle? My thought was like, because I have that super long selfie stick, right? So then I would stick the X4 onto the end, and then I would see if there's a way to stick it on the end of the sled dog, or not the sled dog, on the sled. If there's a way to just have it just pointing, like, you know, pointing upwards the whole time, like an antenna, then that would be cool if I could just have that consistently. But I don't know the first thing about dog sleds or whatever. I don't know if it's super bumpy. I'm assuming it would be probably bumpy as you're going off trail at times. So yeah, I don't know. There's so many question marks to how can, it's like, it's easy to say, yes, this is possible. And then it's another thing when it comes to like the actual hard work of the granular details, which, you know, I haven't spent the time to think about. So the Nano Doggo, yeah, I like the naming. I like it. Yeah, but you get a Nano Dog. I'd have a Nano Dog. Man, should I buy another one of these? God, I'm spending too much money though. It doesn't make sense. I can't justify it. But it would be cool because I wanted one camera for myself, right? Because my thought was like if I could wear it on my head, so then you can see, you know, like my point of view a bit more realistically. And then if I could have one on the dog at the front, so you can see the front point of view from a dog's perspective. How crazy is that? How often do you get an opportunity to film something like that? And then I have my ZR, which would be my proper camera for like moments. But, you know, I'm not going to be able to film the entire, like the entire ride, right? I don't have enough space for that. And I might end up using it for the live stream. So, and that's where I was like, oh, also, I have my Osmo Pocket 3. So then the question was like, oh, do I use that for the live streaming just to be realistic and like practical? Because, you know, holding a heavy ZR camera, that could be a little bit too much and with all the other gear necessary. So what if I just use an Osmo Pocket Nano, wear my backpack, put it onto the camera strap so you get that front facing view, and then yeah, I'm just streaming so that people still get to see what I see, and yeah, it's a live stream. And it's a 1080, you know, it'd film at like 1080p, I think 30 frames or 60. So that is like the realistic answer. And then the ambitious stretch goal is, can I hook up the ZR for the live stream? So then you guys get the actual, you know, the best visual. But it might not even be the best, because if it's so shaky, it's probably better with an action camera for stabilization. I don't know. Too many thoughts I'm trying to figure out. Fed says it's negative 24 degrees right now in Katokino. Oh yeah, Maple had mentioned, so Kavai, shout out to Kavaitsu, again, also for helping me out to think through this potential trip. But Maple just came in earlier and mentioned that Kavai is streaming right now. Hold on. Twitch.com/, is it Kavaitsu? Yo, okay, hold on, let's check it out. Oh. So our boy is streaming right now. And what did Maple say? I don't know where he's at. Ice skating, photography. Hold on, I'm watching him on like my burner account or whatever you call it. Let me say hi to him on my... This is kind of cool what he's doing. Yeah, see, so okay, he's in Civilization, it looks like. So I'm assuming he's streaming with his like just like a cell connection, I'm assuming. Kavai. Oh, I had to follow him. Hello. Streaming right now, but popping in to see what you're up to.
By the way, guys, is my camera, is it weird?
Better not lick that mask on the inside in this cold weather.
Hello?
Oh man.
Oh, you're fast. Hello. Yeah, I'm using a mask. And I'm not bored.
Oh yeah, this guy does a lot of like...
right now, but popping to see what you're up to. Oh, thank you. Well, I have to check in on your stream later. Maybe I will see the VOD. Yeah, thank you. Let me show you what I'm doing.
Unlocking new Arctic terrain.
So it's a bit noisy. So I'm
that's
traveling
crazy.
on this big lake.
Man, what a lifestyle. Saroni said his battery died on his phone, so he stopped for today. Oh, is this? Oh, wait,
so
wait.
we have to get home before it gets...
Oh, Maple, you're saying?
Yeah.
Cat and Candle saying, who is that? This is Kavaitsu. Kavaitsu is a streamer, and he's also part of our community, and he's been super helpful. And yeah, so...
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Maple says Kavai, who's a new IRL photographer streamer, also an electric longboarder, which is what he's using to get around. It's so crazy to me, man.
Zero shadows before you came, but then, yeah, you, Maples, Saronius, and Yodel is here. That's, yeah, I'm so happy. Let me get back home. So we'll travel to the lights.
Maple says follow the lad. I have. This is I'm not logged in on this
I'm still on
what do you call it? The
2%,
Chrome profile.
So it's going up from my phone battery.
So this is like what do you it's like basically I'm on incognito on this website or this browser here.
Travel.
Man, what a life. Well, feel free to check out his stream, guys. I'm gonna mute this guy on this thing now. Okay. What a man. So anyways, so that's Kavaitsu. So again, huge shout out to him because, like I said, he gave me a lot of insights into a potential dog sledding trip. So my current thought process was, okay, beginning March, what if I go to Norway for like, I don't know, 7 to 10 days, and I wanted to interview one of the dog sledders and like get their story. So he put me in touch with the guy who runs this dog sledding farm. I don't know what you call it. Plus he does like tours. So then I would interview this guy and just get his thoughts, the story of what he does, how he got into dog sledding, maybe get a little bit of that tradition, how it started in Norway. And then the bulk of it is just showing us going on this expedition, cross country, beautiful northern lights, all the other stuff. And then just package it up as hopefully a nice little short film. So yeah, I figured it'd be a nice project for me to keep testing my filmmaking muscles, if that makes sense. So yeah. Maple says you can do literal shout outs on Twitch, by the way, with chatting / forward. Okay, I see. Oh, see, I don't know anything. / oh yeah, I'll do it on Twitch. Hold on. So you said I do / shout out Kawaii-tsu. Oh, nice. Well, the more you learn, eh? It only took a few months. It only took 126 days of streaming. You can do it in OBS or on Twitch. Gotcha. Oh, thank you very much, Maple. Clearly, I need to keep learning how to be a streamer. Because you said it's a standard Twitch command. So no excuses. Hello, Abina. Okay, how do I say? Abhinav Raj says, bro, is this shot on the ZR? I don't know what you were pointing at before. If you were pointing at this camera here so right now I'm streaming on the Nikon ZR, and then I've got the Z9 on this camera and Z6 III on this one. For the shot that just happened to be here, this was the Z6 III. But there's like a montage of footage that I took in the past couple years. So majority of this is going to be shot with the Z9 or the Z6 III, with sprinkling in a few Z8s. But yeah. But thank you very much, Abhinav Raj, for popping in and chatting in the chat. Okay, what was I? Okay, so there's some things that I was supposed to talk about. Like I said, check out my latest video on YouTube, Behind the Lens. It's episode 1. And so I've already filmed the next few, and my job, but like my hope is that whenever you guys don't see me live, I'm using that time to work on new scripts or like new ideas, and also to film new of those, like these episodes. They're not meant to be super long, like 3 minutes, 5 minute type things. So I do a little bit of preparation for it. Sometimes I try to memorize a script or like try to think through the key things to say, but that's been really fun as I'm thinking through like what are the right topics that I can talk about that might be of interest. And then I'm working with an editor now who can make it really punchy, and he's excellent. So like turning my boring conversations into something more, fiery. So yeah, you should expect this more often. My goal right now is to publish one of these videos every week. So, it's like 3-5 minutes, something like that. But behind the lens is what I'm calling it for now. So, yes, enjoy, please clap. Cat and Candle says, did you say you use Nikons to stream? Yeah, I use it all for streaming, but then I shoot with Nikon as well. So I was originally a Nikon shooter. I'm a Nikon creator. It's like it's not as cool as being an ambassador, but basically I work with them in an official capacity in different ways. I do workshops and stuff as well. But yeah, so I've been a Nikon photographer for a number of years, and for the stream, I'm just using those cameras for the live stream at the same time. Saroni says, check out those images. I DM'd you on Discord. Oh yes, sorry. Let's see here. Let me pop out of this guy for now. I was supposed to go, oops. Oh, I just logged myself out of my... Did the screen go pitch black for you guys? I basically logged myself out. Do you use a capture card or just the Nikon utility? I use the capture cards, the Elgato 4K Cam Link. But it's a bit overkill the way I'm doing it. because I have three cameras and they're all hooked up. I recently purchased this Rodecaster Video, which allows me to not need a capture card. So then I could just hook up via HDMI, or technically the USB-C for, I think, one of my cameras. I can hook it up directly into the Rodecaster, but the problem with the Rodecaster is that it just feeds out one video feed. So I can't unless I can only customize to a certain extent, but I can't just show all three cameras in different points wherever I want to, So there's some limitation, but technically like a Rodecaster or a video switcher, I guess is what they're called, makes more sense, probably. What I'm doing is abnormal though, so I don't know. I'm breaking all the rules in some ways. I'm not doing things correctly for sure. So don't take advice from me on that kind of stuff. Cyronius, where are you? Oh, you DM'd me. Gotcha. So this is the kit that Cyronius uses. Can I share some of this on stream? Oh, so you 3D printed the parts that covers the Sony camera that you use, the camcorder or something? Yo, yo, Kavai, thank you, thank you very much for the raid. Listen, man, I appreciate it. And shout out to Maple for letting me know that you were streaming. For some reason, I forgot that you stream as well, and I don't know, it's just like my mind blanked out. But I was like, yo, check out Kavai. He's on a frozen lake. I was like, what? So, thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed chilling. It looked freezing out there, but it blows my mind that you're on an electric skateboard in the snow on a frozen lake. Like what the heck is that? But hopefully you had a good time, and again, thank you, Kavai. I spoke with I forget if you said he's your boss or someone you worked with in the past, but I spoke with Roger, who runs that the dog sledding farm, or the dog sledding thing. Super chill guy, by the way, and it sounds, I'm hopeful that I might be able to make a trip happen in the beginning of March. So right now, he mentioned he had a few conflicts or a few other appointments or things he has to do. But potentially, I know you guys have like a dog sledding racing event on the 6th of March. He said he has something on the 8th of March. So my hope was maybe I would film the start of the race on the 6th in Alta. And then maybe I'll hang out in one of those ice hotels that I heard about and maybe do a bit of interviewing. And then on the 9th, I would join him, if all goes well, if the pricing and all that, right? From the 9th, and maybe for 4 to 5 days or 6 days, do the dog sledding expedition across country and do all the filming. Fed's asking, how does the batteries react on the board? So question for Kavai. So how did the batteries react on the skateboard? Like cars and cameras, it runs low faster? Yeah, I don't know much because I haven't dealt with a lot of cold weather, but my understanding is like, don't batteries usually burn out much quicker when you're in the extreme weather? Kavai says, oh, cool. Roger's pretty chill. Yeah, he's my... Oh, is my screen frozen? Hold on. Oh, no, my monitor's frozen. Give me a second. I have to go to the display. Restart capture. There we go. This is one of the photos that Saronius sent me. So it sounds like you 3D printed your own mount for this camcorder, which is pretty badass, man. Again, I'm impressed by people who can just do things on their own. But yeah. You said, he's my summertime job, so I work on the husky farm in the summer. Sounds like a solid plan. The battery on my board burns down quicker in cold, but enough for 25 instead of summer temperature of 50 kilometers. So it goes 25 kilometers in the winter and then 50 in the summer. Okay. Cyronius says, I CAD modeled the case, then 3D printed it. Man, how do you do all that kind of stuff? I feel so... I mean, I felt inadequate even younger. The moment it was like, I don't drive manual, and I've never changed a tire in my entire life. And I feel like those are two as far as being a manly man goes, those are two of the most emasculating things to say. Never change a tire, nor would I trust myself to change a tire. I'm sure I could do it, you know? I'm sure. And then also I already forgot the other thing I said I've never done. It now has a 58mm filter mount up from a 49mm. Kavai says, I love 3D printing too. Well, listen, I wish you guys could help me out. But yeah, I found a company that's, I think, is going to be able to create that case for me. So the GoStream OC case, or like there's one from Tomon. Is it GoStream? GoStream. GoStream OC case.
HDMI stream switcher, where basically you have your preview monitor and your video switcher inside this travel hard case. The whole thing is customizable, super easy to use, and if you're a production team on the go with
there's a company, they actually sell one of these guys. Kavai says, I'm going home but lurking. Thank you very much, Kavai. I appreciate it, man. So there's a company that sells literally almost like exactly what I need. It's like this all-in-one case. The company is GoOC, and the case has like a monitor. It's got the video audio switcher. It's got the ventilation, at least on the inside. So it's not like exactly perfect, but I was like, oh man, I think this is what I would need. But I already have my Rodecaster video, and I don't know if this brand is as trusted in terms of the quality of like of its products. So I decided, let me stick with the Rodecaster video and then try to figure out a custom casing and hope that it's not too expensive. But let me see.
Those production teams that need a pop-up multicam video shoot or live stream where you can broadcast.
Also, there's a few functions where like it didn't have what's the word I'm looking for? ISO, like recording, and a few other functions.
Projectors and things like full travel hard case for professional gear. It locks at the front, and if you look at the bottom, you have quarter threads and 3/8 threads for mounting to a tripod if you don't have a table handy. There's also mounts on the side so that you can mount any devices that you need to. Like, think if you want the person running the show to have a camera to be talking to as well, like you can mount a camera on the side. And on the back, you have an IEC PowerPoint, or on the other side, there is a DC in, but also right here, a 5-volt DC out in case you need to charge other devices or cameras. There's also an Ethernet out, so you can plug it directly into the network, and you can stream straight from this box. Then you have a USB-C out to go to your computer and use it as a video source. And below that, you have another USB-C, which you can bring in other devices, like even a USB webcam. So I have the Tiny 2 right here. I can plug it in that and use it as a source, which is a really awesome feature. Over here, you have an HDMI output that's set to program out, but you can actually customize it to be any source or even all the windows. It's actually pretty cool how much you can customize it in the menu. And then you have a mic 2 input over here, which is great if you're like next to an audio mixer, and you can come out from that and go into that input right there. Next to that, you have your 4 HD.
Yeah, so I don't know. This thing was like quite interesting, but yeah. So now I'm going with the Rodecaster, and then now I just got to figure out this custom casing. Fingers crossed. But in a world where everything works out, which is a world that I might not necessarily exist in ever, but in a world where half of what I need works out, I would ultimately end up in a situation where I travel to Norway in a few weeks. I take my Rodecaster. I have a custom built case that I put the Rodecaster in, plus all the other parts necessary for it. But basically, oh yeah, and then also in that world, I've got either this Bella Box system, which I need to keep bugging you, Cyronius, for further understanding of like, I get what you're saying. There's a Bella Box. It has like this kind of Raspberry Pi thing, and you need like a modem for the SIM cards, and then somehow you wrap it all up together inside of a case. So the question is, how easy is it to build that case? And do I have enough time if I need to build it myself in Dubai? Do I have enough time? Or I think, oh yeah, Cyronius, I think you mentioned you might be able to ship one to me. But then the same question applies, I guess, of do I have enough time to get this ready in time for my trip? But let's say in the perfect world, we've got the custom case, we've got our Rodecaster, we've got this Bella Box system, and I've got my cameras. Boom, we go to Norway. I need a picture of a dog sled, actually. Hold on. Overhead shot of dog sled. Okay, now I need a close-up of this freaking sled. What the heck does a dog sled look like? Dog sled. Not the dogs, give me the sled. Okay, is it like this? Oh, that's for racing. So maybe it's like this. Okay, I'm assuming, okay, it must look like this, yeah? Can I zoom in on this photo? Dang it. Cyrone says, I would say buying the hard way is getting much harder. I would also say that buying and shipping to Dubai is probably slower, but I don't know how accessible Amazon. Amazon's super accessible. Amazon, it's been out here for years. Yeah. I get like 1-day shipping. I get same-day delivery on a bunch of stuff. But there's a few products that it doesn't ship to Dubai for sure. Like, yeah, there's a lot of things you can find on Amazon.com that you can't find in the UAE version. I need a proper picture of the sled. Here, let's go to his website, northxp.no. So this is the guy that Kavai put me in touch with. So he's got his own company. He runs his own tours and everything. Very exciting. And he's like, you know, it's like a family-owned business, so it's not like a super commercialized one or anything. Yo, what's happening? We got Swiss Army in the chat. Hello, Swiss Army. Thanks for being here. Happy Monday. Swiss also says hello to Fedorevsky. Fedorevsky is here as well, by the way. I think still. Swiss Army, just FYI, I'm planning a trip. If all goes well, I was just explaining, I'm hoping to travel to Norway in the beginning of March. And I want to spend like 4 to 6 days doing like a dog sledding expedition and just film everything. I want to interview the guy who is like the dog sled owner and just do similar to the short film I made about the Chimp Island. I just want to keep testing how to make film properly. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. Cyrone says, let me put together a shopping cart for the AE Amazon. I appreciate it, man. And like I said, let me know if this ends up being a thing, like if the Bella Box thing is the most viable option. Let me know. Obviously, I want to figure out how much it costs and what makes sense and all of that. So, for your time, nice emotes, man. I didn't even know they had that. That's so crazy. Fed says, I'm battling YouTube to get the new film to work. It keeps having issues here, and they're with missing buffers. Oh yeah, Fed. I'm so sorry. I forgot to ask. Like, how did the filming go? Wait, you're saying you've already finished the editing and everything? Didn't you just go for filming like on Friday or something? But yeah, hopefully the shoot went very well, man. But yeah, so Swiss Army, I was thinking of purchasing a Starlink from Norway, because that's been the annoying thing for me. The frustration is that I can't buy it in Dubai. So maybe I get this guy or even Kavai. Maybe I can see if they could purchase a Starlink on my behalf. And then that way I can just go there, pick it up, hook it up to the sled itself. And then I'll have a case built, like a custom case built in time that can hold my Rodecaster and some of the other parts needed to live stream. But then I would love to do a live stream from the freaking sled dog. You know, you guys can tune in and watch as I'm freezing my ass off going cross country and then seeing the northern lights and whatever else. But yeah, let's see. Okay, I knew it. I can see. So this is what the sled looks like. So then the challenge becomes... Here, let's see if there's more moments that I can... I just need some clean visuals of what the sled looks like so I have a better idea of how I can rig up the sled with cameras. See, I want to show this on a freaking live stream. Come on, we can make it work. Fed says it went well. I was done editing on Saturday, but the uploads keep having issues. Damn, that's crazy, dude. Well, congrats. Hopefully we can check it out soon. Swiss says just have them activate it in their country first before shipping it to you. No. What I was gonna say is I'll pick it up in Norway. As in, like, so right now, fingers crossed, because I'm speaking with the owner of this sled dog farm. But if the timing works, if the pricing works, and all of that, then I would basically fly to Norway beginning of March and go to Alta, that part of Norway where the sled dogs experience is, and then I would I would get them to purchase it for me. You know, I would pay them, but then I'd pick it up there. The only concern I have, I don't know, this is from ChatGPT or AI, so it could be wrong. I didn't know, like, if you purchase a Starlink, it had said something of like, oh, be careful. If you purchase a Starlink, they have like these regional roaming plans where you can basically use the roaming plan anywhere in the same continent. So if I purchase one in Norway, I wouldn't be able to use it in Africa. Or there's some weird thing like that where it said, you know, just FYI, depending on which continent you purchase the Starlink from, you might not be able to access this like roaming data plan in another continent. I just need to double check. Fed says, initially I had to add some grain emulation to battle some banding issues, and that worked, but then it wouldn't play it back properly. Huh. Damn. Seems like a good time to use the tilt-a-arm with the Pocket 3. Well, that is a consideration, and who knows, maybe I can borrow one from this one company. Like, it's like a retailer that I work with, or a distributor. I do have an Osmo Pocket 3, but that's why I need a photo of this actual sled, so I have a better sense of like, can you actually attach it to something? Because I feel like with the tilt-a-arm, isn't it like a suction cup concept? And I don't think the sled actually, it looks more like cloth based. Yeah. So if I'm looking at this looks very much like it's just some kind of fabric. So realistically, maybe I can hook up something to the edge of this sled here. If I hook up like a pole, or I don't know, like a clamp, and then attach, yeah, if I attach a clamp to the end here, and then either stick I could stick an Osmo Pocket here, but the angle is too low. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like you would just be focusing on the dog's ass, basically. So, give me another photo. You can, however, only use it up to 60 days. After 60 days, you need to register the Starlink in the country you're using it. 60 days at a time. Gotcha. When I look at the stats for nerds on the video, there's missing buffers here and there, so the video stops to load. Oh, damn. What causes that? Is AI able to help you with that? No, you can mount the tilt-a-arm with the clamp. The suction is just the default mounting point, but the arm is Ari Rost mounting point. Ari Rost mounting. Mounting sled? Wait, what? Hold on. Can you imagine they have a mounting system just for dog sleds? Arm Osmo Pocket 3. Yeah, this is the one I saw. Or, yeah, like the Tilta Hydra Alien mini car mount with the Osmo Pocket. So you're saying you can remove the suction base? Like if this were to hook up to the front of that sled, that could be promising. But my kind of stretch goal or the ambition is that I want to film this with my Nikon ZR. Like ideally I would have the ZR hooked up for a clean view. But then again, maybe that doesn't make sense. Yeah, because maybe it's like I want the camera, the ZR should be a bit more handheld. So that's like the freewheeling, like, oh, check out the view over on the right. And then I can just point the camera over there so you guys can see. Whereas the Osmo Pocket would then be like the dedicated live stream view. Rosette says Swiss Army. So 2 months at a time. Oh, you were saying the Starlink. Basically, the moment you use the Starlink, if you use it for more than 60 days, then they tell you to register it. If you use it once in 60 days, then you have no issues. Or even if you end up using it for like 30 days in a row, you won't have any issues with like using it in outside of the home country or whatever. Amazon A is kind of shit. Yeah, well, listen, it ain't no .com, okay, but it gets the job done. It gets most of the things I need. When you find the point you want a rig to, send me a picture. I'll send you the rigging you need. Oh, thank you, man. Well, I do appreciate that. Where is the sled dog images? Realistic, yeah, it does feel like the only rigging points would be either if you're the driver and where you're holding it, you know, like where your hands are. So like the railing there, you could rig it to the side, it looks like. Or if you're sitting down. But the problem with when you're sitting down is then I don't trust putting anything around there in case you're actually lying down there or whatever. Or that fabric has to come across. Where'd it go? Okay. I feel like a detective. I'm looking for any glimpse of the sled. There we go. Okay. Can I zoom in? I can't. Dang it. Yeah, so it looks like there is a top rail and a handlebar, essentially. So if I'm standing, maybe I can hook up a very tiny clamp. So basically, I can imagine maybe a camera is just right there. Just right above the mount. So that way, if I'm standing, I can still hold onto the railing and not worry about the camera, like holding onto the camera while maneuvering the sled. And then on the lead dog, I can stick the Osmo Nano on the collar. And then the Osmo Pocket technically can just go side by side. And you know what? Maybe what yeah, I don't know. There's too many thoughts here, and I don't have enough time. Because basically, we're looking at Feb 16. I got to map this all out, plan the trip, pay for the trip, get all the parts, and then we're out the door. But most likely, I want to fly out around like March 4th, March 5th, probably March 3rd, March 4th. Cyrone says the only orange Pi 5 Plus is available at 1,600 dirhams. That's pretty expensive, no? Because that's like about $400, I think. So basically, Cyrone, I guess my question becomes, when is it, for all the parts needed to run the Bella box and the modem, right, for the SIM card stuff, at what point is it better to just go with the live view if it's, you know, easy, all's ready to go? Because if I remember, there's like the live view costs around $1,500 US, I think, for like the solo traveler kit or whatever it's called, not for like the super professional ones. So I guess if the Raspberry Pi costs $400 plus some of the other parts that are needed, plus. If it ends up costing, let's say like $800, just as an example, then I have to figure out, is $800 for the custom Bella Box version better than the live view that's more like out of the box, like ready to go? Swiss says, yep, my Starlink is registered here in USA, but I've never had an issue with other countries for a week or two of use. Then I've returned to USA, no warnings or anything, it just works. I think maybe the AI was warning me if I use if I'm trying to get the international roaming plan, or like the in mobility plan. Here, let's ask ChatGPT. Guten Abend, Amber, can you hear me?
Well, howdy there. Loud and clear, partner. I reckon it's a mighty fine evening to have a chat. What can I do you for?
You reckon correctly. I'm curious, are you up to date with all of the latest Starlink products and services?
Well, partner, Starlink's got some big updates in 2026. They're offering up to 400 megabits per second for business and aiming for a gigabit in remote areas. They've got direct to cell services starting with texting, plus aviation connectivity rolling out later this year. They're expanding the satellite constellation, adding thousands more, and even talking about satellite to phone tech. In short, they're fixing to keep you connected anywhere you roam.
All right, well, I appreciate all of that. So here's the context. I live in Dubai, and I want to start live streaming across Africa and maybe Europe as well. And as part of that, I need to have a Starlink to purchase. I need the hardware and obviously the right plan to power it. And initially, for my use case, I'm planning to strap the Starlink onto moving vehicles. So whether that be like an African Jeep safari or even potentially dog sledding. So I need a unit that hopefully should be able to give me stable connectivity in a moving vehicle. So what would then be the right hardware and the right plan that would allow me to travel to different countries and have the sufficient data plan as well as the sufficient coverage? Yeah, can you explain?
As of 2026, Starlink's roam plan covers over 150 countries, offering 100 gigabytes of high-speed data per month with unlimited slower speeds after that. It works well for travel, but using it while moving is still regulated, and speeds depend on local conditions. For large video uploads, you may need other options like local fiber or bonded 5G, and always check country regulations before traveling. In short, it's good for connectivity on the go, but have a backup plan for heavy data needs.
Okay, you didn't properly answer what I was saying. Because okay, let's just take Norway for now. Let's say if I live in Dubai, I want to go to Norway. I can purchase, I believe Norway is operational for Starlink. I don't know to what extent, but let's say if I can purchase the hardware in Norway, I can have someone who lives in Norway purchase it and then I can pick it up. And then let's say I want the right plan that I could be on this moving sled and have the sufficient data and stability so that I could run a live stream for however many hours. So with that in mind, what is the right hardware that I need to purchase potentially? And what is the right plan that I need to look at?
So, for Norway, you can use Starlink Standard or High Performance Dish, with the stationary LAN plan offering around 30 to 70 megabits per second upload, which should handle 1080p or 4K streams. In-motion use is restricted, so you'll need local approval if mounting on a moving sled. For best results, pair Starlink with a mobile 5G backup and keep an eye on weather and local regulations.
Wait, did you say in-mobility use is restricted in Norway? So like the moving vehicle stuff?
That's right, partner. As of now, Starlink's official policy says using the dish in motion, like on a sled or Jeep, is technically restricted. But folks do get local approvals or specialized setups, especially for remote regions. You'd want to double check Norway's rules and maybe use a hybrid solution, Starlink when stopped, and maybe a 5G setup when on the move.
How do I check that on their website here?
As of now, Starlink in Norway allows you to use the dish while stationary, but for moving vehicles or sleds, local government approval is required. You can set up Starlink at a fixed location for reliable connectivity while using a 5G backup when on the move. If you do need to operate while moving, check with Norway's telecom authority or Starlink's official support to see if it's permitted. Otherwise, plan around a stationary setup.
Okay, well, that would be a damper to the the whole concept. Let me think about that. So if I'm unable to use the Starlink while in motion, then I wouldn't be able to obviously stream the sledding. I mean, I could still do live streams, so I can show you, I can do the live streams with you guys if I just, let's say when we're camping for the night or in different spots, then I can, I guess, technically legally power on the Starlink and run it. But I've never used a Starlink before, so I'm basically, I'm doing all things that I probably shouldn't, where I'm like trying a bunch of concepts without knowing anything. So for multi-day use of streaming Zoom, I have only needed like 20 gigabytes a month. However, for Uganda, I was uploading a lot and using it daily. I used about 60 gigabytes. Gotcha. Yeah, I have to double check again how much data would be consumed if I am streaming 1080p for like 6 hours every day, you know? I forget what the math was, but I think there was a plan, so I can purchase the right plan to cover my worst case scenario of streaming too many hours. But this was for Kenya, when I was thinking of like Africa stuff. For Uganda, I was using the unlimited data plan. So Swiss, you used the unlimited data plan and you had a personal Starlink, is that right? I really hate this Starlink website because I can't freaking make sense out of... I wish they just had a hardware section and a software section. You know what I mean? Like, what is this residential versus roam, personal versus business? So I'm assuming you're saying you went to Rome, maybe? Rome. And then the other thing I'm trying to figure out is you have the Starlink Mini and a Starlink Standard. Mini gets you, 100 gigabytes. And what is this standard? Okay, so this is from that personal one, right? Because I thought I was reading there's like a more powerful Starlink. If I want to do the in-mobility, I thought there was like a different unit I need to consider. You got the personal dish roaming plan. Okay, so the one you got, was the roaming plan mini dish. Okay. So, for example, this is your setup. Roam mini 100 gigabytes. Or, oh, no, I think you might have said you had the unlimited. I forget. But point is, you got the data plan, you got the mini hardware, and then technically it should allow you to go 150 countries is what they said. But then, if I were to read this differently, I could have sworn they had another freaking product for the mobility. So let me click over to business. And now from business, if I click on global priority, connectivity on land and ocean around the world. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay. So this is the other one, the Starlink Performance Kit. which is $2,000. I remember this is why initially when I was like starting to map out how much I would need to invest in this pilot, the number was a lot higher because I was thinking I needed something like the live view for the encoding and all the other stuff, for the mobile sim bonding. But then also the Starlink, the hardware was going to cost a lot of money. So I think in the time I also remember seeing something more in this price range. So let's say if I ended up, the mini dish is all you need is what you're saying? I mean, you've tested it, so I do trust you for that. But I still feel hesitant, you know what I mean? I still have that thing like, well, for sure, if I got the Starlink performance, it sounds like that would definitely work for my needs. And then what you're saying is technically the mini dish from when you did real life field testing would actually be able to hopefully get me sufficient results. Realistically, we might want 2 dishes, but that will be more of a future live stream. Yeah, and that was the other thing. I know you mentioned like having 2 dishes, but then the question is like, do they run into the same issue that they'll always be calling to the same satellite? And would if you don't get connection on one, or if it gets laggy on one, would it be laggy on the other equally? I have no idea. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so then with this business one, you get the Starlink Performance Kit. Hardware details. So the Starlink Performance Kit, best for Generation 3, best for high demand use in the most extreme and remote environments. 75 to 100 watt power usage. It's capable of up to 1 gigabits per second in 2026. Survivable in 280 kilometers per hour winds. Okay. Now, for my needs, it will be in extreme weather in the sense of like, imagine in Norway, it would be freezing. You know, like I think he was saying it's right now around -10, maybe -20. And then I don't know with the wind chill. And then in Kenya or parts of Africa, it'd be the opposite where it'd be like super hot outside. So then sticking the Starlink on the top of the Jeep, that's another thing I guess I have to be concerned about. So yeah, I don't know, Swiss, like was the mini dish, I guess I can look into that as well right now. How does the Starlink mini hardware compare to the Starlink Performance Kit hardware if I want to run live streams with in a moving vehicle in a Jeep on a safari? Can the mini be sufficient? The mini dish has internal heaters. Okay. Never got hot on top of our rover. It's white, so it reflects heat. But then you were in Uganda, right? Or, oh wait, no, you said, did you say you used it in Ghana maybe? I don't know what the weather's like, but let's say if I'm doing it for a wildlife safari in Tanzania, Kenya, Zimbabwe, depending on when I go, it could be like super hot. You know what I mean? And obviously I'm trying to avoid places with too much shade. So it'll ultimately, chance of overheating, if it were to happen, I would assume I'm in those locations where that could happen. You said both. Okay. Let's see. Starlink Mini. It's 2.5 pounds, laptop size. Those are the pluses, and it's roughly $500. You can do 65 to 260 megabits per second. So that's for download. For upload, it's 7.5 to 20 megabits per second. So that should be sufficient. I think 20 was fine. I think. At highway speeds, reviewers have achieved over 100 megabits download and 20 megabits upload with latency under 40 milliseconds. Power draw is very low, about 20 to 30 watts after initial boot. Let me just zoom in on this guy. And it can run directly from DC power like USB-C or a vehicle's 12-volt system. That's the other thing. I most likely cannot use the vehicle's car system because for the Jeep Safaris, you're going to constantly turn off the car for silence, right? So I'm assuming the moment the car shuts off, then maybe the Starlink connection shuts off. So most likely I would just need to have it connected to like an external battery. Built-in Wi-Fi, single Ethernet. It can maintain a connection while in motion at speeds up to 100 miles per hour. That's good to know, because that should be within that, obviously. My team has used it in Jordan as well. Okay. So then the Starlink Performance Kit, much larger and heavier. It's designed to deliver download speeds up to 400 megabits, upload speeds between 5 and 20. Oh, wait, interesting. Unless it's a typo, it's saying it's the same amount of upload speed as... That might be a typo. Features a powder-coated aluminum enclosure built for extreme weather. Now, this sounds like what I need. It says, powder-coated aluminum enclosure built for extreme weather, high vibration settings, and in-motion usage. So basically all three of those things are my main concerns. Extreme heat or cold, a lot of shaking and bumping around in the Jeeps, and then obviously it's a Jeep, so we're going to have a lot of motion. Can be powered by AC or DC. No built-in router, you need to add one. Significantly more rugged and durable. So the key takeaways, upload speeds are essentially the same. That's strange. So the big advantages are in download speeds, durability, and handling harsh environments. Okay. Maple says you could probably run it off a V-mount battery if you wanted, but depending how much it pulls, you can just use regular power banks. Okay. Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay, so the V-mount batteries could be the best solution. I've never used V-mount batteries before, so I don't know the first thing about it. But I'm assuming I can travel with those guys. And then yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea. Yami says, "Hey, I'm back. What did I miss?" Oh, you didn't miss much. You know, just the usual stuff. I don't even know what I've been talking about. Well, right now I'm just doing a bit of research. So I haven't done any video editing. This is why Mongolia episode 2 will never get completed, by the way. But yes, shout out to Yami again. Thank you yet again for your amazing raid earlier. Swiss said, while use the Mini, while the Mini is made of plastic, Mini's made of plastic, but it's very tough. Gotcha. I used 98 watt hours V mounts, got about 3 hours per battery. Oh, that's perfect. Well, for the Africa IRL streaming concept, realistically, I was planning to do early morning and late afternoon streams. So that's another bonus, or another plus, is that the times that I would be doing this like Jeep Safari is not at the height of the heat. Like, you'd be trying to escape the heat by streaming like basically right around sunrise, and then the first 2 to 3 hours, and then coming back. So in a ways, I guess I would still do my best to avoid extreme heat. So 3 hours is perfect. Maple says, also, I saw your audio question message. Did you get that sorted? What was my audio? Wait, are you talking to me? My audio question message. Did I get that sorted? I'm assuming I did. But I'm gonna be real with you. I forgot what that question was. Was I talking about audio today? However, in the cold, you need to factor a loss of about 30% due to the temps batteries. True. Fair. Yami says, no, poor Mongolia part 2. Yeah, man, it's just been sitting there. But listen, these are all I'm spending equally important time right now for amazing content for you guys, right? Because we're gonna go live in the world and share it with you guys in a nice way. Lose charge when in lower temperatures than freezing. Lose charge when in lower. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier, Swiss. I don't know the math. I didn't know it's like roughly 30%. But my understanding was like, oh yeah, batteries tend to die faster in the cold. Next question. I haven't looked into it yet. I'm horrible. Oh, okay, so it wasn't about me. Gotcha. I was so confused because I have such bad memory and probably ADHD. Probably. Can the Mini work for Safari live streaming? For live streaming, upload speed is what matters. You'll typically want 6 to 10 Mbps. The Mini can deliver this, but there are real caveats. In its favor, dramatically easier to power and mount on a Safari vehicle, USB-C from a power bank or 12 volt, lightweight and portable, huge advantage for solo operation. Upload speeds in open terrain, with which game reserves generally are, should be solid since you'll have great sky visibility. Concerns for Safari streaming. On open roads, it maintains consistent, reliable connectivity. Areas with trees and obstruction, that's fine. The whole point is I would avoid trees and obstruction. So that part I don't care about, or it shouldn't affect me too much. Dense bush or tree canopy on a Safari could cause intermittent drops. Okay. Some service plans restrict in-motion use. The basic mini roam plan may disable connectivity while moving, requiring the more expensive mobile priority plan. Swiss, could I ask, did that didn't happen to you, right? Did you say do you have the mobile priority plan, or you have the basic mini roam plan? And they didn't disable your connection just because they detected that you're moving, right? How would I check that? The Roam Unlimited. Well, these are the only two plans that they've got. Although maybe it's also like Uganda might be a different market. Well, no, Uganda is not even enabled, right? So if it's active in Kenya already, it should be okay, I'm assuming. Man, there's so many question marks. But you know what? I get so excited every time we run into one of these, like, well, 50-50, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Because if it doesn't work now, we know in the future, at some point, this technology is going to be available, active, and whatever. So we're at the cutting edge. We're figuring this shit out before it's mainstream. And so if we can do this really well, then we're gonna get popping. So the more challenges, the more likely no one else is doing this. Probably for good reason, but we're gonna plow through this. Mobile priority plan, which is $250 per month. This is also an acceptable cost though, because I'm already accepting that there will be some data cost to run the stream for a few days or however long. But I do need to keep that in mind. Like, what is the bottom line per trip? How much would I have to spend just to even stream? And so obviously then the question becomes, is it even financially viable to do it? And I'm very ambitious about myself. I'm very optimistic. And especially if I can reduce the cost of traveling, if I can stay at some of these lodges, hopefully for free or like comped in a certain way based on if I give them collateral, then yeah, those are the big reasons why also I think this is feasible for someone like me, because I have some of those connections. I have the ability to hopefully reduce the cost. Mini's internal Wi-Fi 5 router is limited. You probably want to run Ethernet from it to your bonding device. The Bella Box, LiveView, Solo Pro, etc. Yep, okay. They say that because they give themselves the ability to do so if they are needing the bandwidth back. However, in countries such as what we're talking about, the amount of people using the dish is low. Fair enough. Okay, good to know. Yeah, I'll be in the middle of nowhere, right? Just a bunch of wildlife. Can you imagine? We're going to have to rescind your bandwidth because the freaking cheetahs wanted the Wi-Fi. Yeah, right. Or the gorillas. So the chance of the disconnect haloing is very low. Disconnecting is very low. Okay. You know, that is still the holy grail. If I can do a gorilla trek live, if I can do a live stream for you guys doing a gorilla trek, that is the holy grail. And I almost wonder if it's not as impossible as I was thinking, because yes, you're in the dense forest, but I know that at times I would remember that the guides would be messaging each other or calling each other on their phones. So I wonder if there actually is moderate cell connection depending on what parts where I'm doing the gorilla trek. So maybe I could also speak with the tourism board, or like as I build connections with like the people in Uganda, like I wonder, could we do like a special thing where we live stream with the gorillas? But you know what, at the same time I doubt that's possible now, because you had Aisho Speed, right? He was in Uganda, or maybe it was Rwanda, one of those countries, when he was doing his Africa tour. And I know it because I saw some of his YouTube shorts where he posted being on a gorilla trek. But I'm assuming he wasn't able to do that live. So if they couldn't make it possible for Aisho Speed, I mean, it's definitely not possible right now anyways. That would be nuts. The cheetahs paid for ultra fast access. Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't even make that connection. Starlink, no, but I bet cellular would work. Actually, let's ask that of Claude. Honest assessment from Claude. The Mini is likely sufficient as one connectivity source feeding into your cellular bonding setup, but I wouldn't rely on it as your sole connection. Okay, so let's continue with this real quick. Wait, hold on. The performance kit gives you better durability and slightly more reliable in-motion connection. Slightly. Okay, so that's not worth it for $1,500 more as of now. But for 4x the price and way more power draw, yeah, so it's marginal. Okay, so now let me clarify with Claude. Two things to clarify. One, on the Jeep Safari, I would be avoiding tree canopies and such. So not too concerned with that. Second question, I guess not a clarification. Second question, if I had two Starlink Minis hardwares hooked up to the Jeep, would it be possible to somehow bond those two together to have a more stable connection consistently? And is that even possible with a live view or Bella box setup? Question mark. Okay, let's see what is the response. Yeah, the gorilla live stream would be like, oh man, that, like I said, I think that would be the top of it. Okay, let's see. Claude is still responding. Good point on the open terrain. That actually makes the Mini a much stronger fit. The dual Starlink bonding question is interesting. Let me look into that. Okay. While you're looking to that, should I actually start doing some proper video work? Actually, I don't think that's going to happen. It's already almost 10 p.m. my time. But again, I'll mention it again. I've released the first episode of my Behind the Lens series, so I do hope you check it out. It's 4 minutes long, and I've been working on the next few episodes. And my God, the editor that I'm working with, it's like night and day compared to all the other ones I tried to work with in the past. I feel so much more having a good editor. I'm realizing, I knew this from the beginning, but it feels more obvious because I'm living it now. Having a good editor just makes you feel more motivated and more creative, and just like more wanting to do stuff. And I guess it's not even just about having an editor. I think having a creative team, having a competent team. So whether it's a film crew, your company team, like whatever it is, just having people around you that you know you can trust to and you can rely on, man, that's worth more than gold in some ways. So yeah, knowing that I have this editor who I know is like more creative than me in so many different ways, I just feel like I'm excited. I'm like thinking through scripting, thinking through some stories, and then just ready to just film it and then send it over to him. So keep following my YouTube channel, guys. I will be publishing more often, except for when I'm traveling, but I'm trying to create some stuff now so that I could release it if I end up traveling all throughout March. You bind them via a router in between them. You have multiple DNS setup. Okay, you're saying some fancy words there, sir. Who you think you're talking to? You think you're talking to a technician? You said a router. So you connect two Starlinks to the router, and then does the router then connect to the live view or the Bella box? You have a multiple DNS setup. I keep saying that word DNS. I never know what it means. Do not serve. What does DNS stand for? Domain name system. Who's supposed to know that? It acts as the phone book of the internet. Okay. So is it like knowing your IP address type thing? Or it's saying what your IP address is? Or it creates IP addresses? Whatever. If I try to figure this out, my brain's going to explode. Swiss says, so when gateway is lower bandwidth, the other takes up the slack. You just spread the network load across multiple supply lines. Yes, the router connects to your Bella box or whatever live view. Okay, all right. Let's see what Claude says then. Great clarification. Open Savannah terrain is actually ideal for the Mini. You'll have near perfect. Yeah, got it. I already knew that, dude. It's technically possible for the dual Starlink bonding, but there are some important nuances. Can you bond two Starlink Minis together? Yes, and both the Bella Box and LiveView support this. You can connect a Starlink Mini via Ethernet directly into a LiveView Solo encoder, where it shows up as an interface alongside your cellular modems and get bonded together with them. The same applies to Bella Box, which can accept multiple Ethernet/USB network connections and bond them using SRTLA. These are acronyms and words that Cyronius said. So I remember seeing this, but don't ask me what it means. So in theory, you could run two Starlink Minis, each on its own Ethernet connection, feeding into your bonding device alongside your cell modems. But here's the practical problem with dual specifically. Both Minis on the same vehicle would be connecting to the same Starlink satellite constellation in the same geographic location on the same ground station. Did they mean to make this rhyme? Same Starlink satellite constellation in the same geographic location on the same ground station. This means they're likely to experience correlated failures. When one drops out, such as a satellite handoff, brief obstruction, the other is very likely to drop at the same moment for the same reason. You can mix and match dish types, and bonding software can handle the differences, but spacing dishes at least 1 meter apart is recommended to avoid interference. Cyroni says the Bella Box has 2 Ethernet ports. Okay. So you can simply connect the 2 Starlinks to the same device. And do I still need a router? Because I thought I read something where the Starlink Performance Kit, that one requires a router. But does the Mini either require a router or comes with it? Let's see, it says Gen 3 router Mini. That's another thing oh, no, sorry, I'm on the wrong. This is the performance one. Router Mini. So you do need a router to go with this Starlink? Yes and no, each dish will need to be facing a different angle, allowing you to cover the sky view better. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I can put one Starlink on the front top of the Jeep, and then the other Starlink on the back top of the Jeep, one facing forward, one facing backwards. And then I don't know how, I'm assuming it would be like a meter at least apart. Siren says, I haven't looked too closely to the hardware needed. No worries, no worries. Where did it go? This is fundamentally different from bonding, say, a T-Mobile modem with a Verizon modem, where their failures are independent of each other. The whole point of bonding is redundancy through uncorrelated connections. So what you'd actually gain from a second Mini is slightly more aggregate. Give me 1 second. 1 second, guys. You know that super relatable feeling when you're staring up at the ceiling, an IV drip strapped to your arm, keeping you from dying in a remote mountain village in a country you barely knew existed, wondering whether you'll die first from your heart giving out or from the shame of taking a selfie in your final moments of life? In case you haven't, let me share my adventure in Tajikistan. A quick story about plans going spectacularly wrong, facing my fragile mortality out in the wild, and discovering the incredible beauty of Tajikistan and its people along the way. I hope you enjoy. In the game of luck, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, and sometimes you win bigly. Today was one of those jackpot days. You're about to see one of the most thrilling moments I've ever experienced in the wild. Well, I'm back. Did you guys miss me? Yeah, of course. My friend's back from the land of Thai. So I was just saying hi. But yeah, anyways, what did I miss? I haven't looked too closely at the hardware. If you wanted to have wireless connectivity, that would require a router. Okay. That's probably very commonsensical, but I don't know. I don't know shit. Okay. I see what you're saying. So you need the router plus the thing to collect the Wi-Fi or the internet, and then that goes to the router to then allow you to connect to other sources wirelessly. So then so if I want to use my phone, for example, I would need that router. A mini dish has a router built in, so if the Bella can take 2 DNS connections directly, no router is needed. So that's another bonus of the mini. I assume the Starlink device itself gives connectivity via Ethernet and doesn't require a modem to make the smarts out of the signal from the Starlink receiver. Well, your assumption is better than mine, so... Swiss says agreed with the LTE bonding because you're bonding 2 cell connections. In a perfect world, I would have you bond Starlink and LTE, but in some of your remote areas, LTE isn't an option. Yeah, exactly. That was the whole issue, is like, if I go to proper national parks, I mean, good luck trying to have any cell connection. Okay, so what you would actually gain from a second mini is let's share my screen. Slightly more aggregate upload bandwidth. So maybe 25 to 35 Mbps combined versus 10 to 20. Oh, so there is a benefit of more bandwidth by having 2? Or is that obvious? Why Wait, is that really true? So then if I had 3, for example, it would just keep stacking. So then it would just, if one gets overloaded, then it just goes to the other Starlink to keep allowing more upload speed. But then, is that really true? Or is there a cap to that? Because I can imagine, like, you can't just have like 3 or 4 Starlinks, right? And just have it have infinite number of upload speed or something. Also, let's just take a quick break to look at this guy. This is the handsome lad. Doesn't require a modem. Agree with the, yeah, so you're adding more pipes so more data can travel. A little bit more coverage, extra bandwidth if one dish goes down for, say, a power change, then it fails one to the other. I have 2 cell phones, both on Google Fi. Man, F Google Fi. I got F'd by Google Fi. Because I got a Google Fi connection since I live abroad in Dubai, and then after I think certain number of months that I was using it, they just disabled it. I was using it just fine for I think like a year, I think, or a long time. And then just they disabled it, and they're like, hey, we recognize that you've been out of country for X period of time. This system or this service is not meant for you, even though you have a U.S. mobile, you're a U.S. citizen, blah blah blah, and they just axed it. So F those guys, They're working in tandem to give me more bandwidth while I'm streaming. It takes like 60 seconds to reboot the dish for power changes, so 2 would make this seamless. Okay. Man, this is exciting though, because I'm hearing solutions from you guys, which is awesome, right? Not like this is impossible, you're shit out of luck. Okay. Are we done with Kimbap? Are you gonna still do your thing? Kimbap. Good boy. Yeah, good boy. Okay. Another benefit is you would get some marginal improvement if one dish happens to have a slightly better satellite lock at any given moment, but no meaningful improvement in reliability during the moments that matter most, such as satellite handoffs, brief outages. What I'd recommend instead, rather than spending $500 on a second mini plus a second Roam subscription. Oh, that's the other thing, I guess. Yeah, so then I would have to have 2 subscriptions. I need a subscription for each hardware. Well, damn. That money is much better spent on, number 1, one Starlink Mini as your satellite backbone. 2, multiple 5G LTE. Okay, so it doesn't know that I'm going to have no cell. And then 3, a Bella box bonding all of these together. So hold on a minute. I agree with majority of what you said. However, for the places I'm streaming, chances are I won't be able to rely on LTE or strong cell connection. So realistically, the Starlink would be my primary and maybe only source of network. Agreed. For when we come to do a super stream, I will bring the second Starlink. Hells yeah, Swiss. We gotta do this. Okay, so here's what my current situation is. All right. In the perfect scenario, of all these projects or trips that I'm currently working on right now, it would mean beginning of March until middle of March, I'll be in Norway doing a dog sledding expedition, filming it for like a travel vlog, for new content, potential like short film concept, and then potential organized tours in the future, like bringing other people with me if the trip is that amazing. So yeah, that's like a personal trip with all these other things attached, plus potentially live streaming or piloting this live stream concept in Norway, which would be, amazing. Number 2, it's still TBD, but it looks closer to happening. There is a project that I was reached out to about, which I can't speak on now, but there's a potential project that I will travel for in the mid to end of March. So TBD, but that would be another cool thing. It's a really, if this ends up happening, there's a lot of reasons why it still may not happen, but if this project occurs and if I'm a part of it, that's like really good news for me. And when I can share it with you guys, hopefully you guys will be excited as well. It means we're leveling up, is what I'm trying to say. We're leveling up as a professional person. So that would be mid-March. Then in April, the beginning of April, I have my organized photo tour to Uganda. So I have a few people already signed up, and then hopefully I have a few other people who's willing to join. But that will be about 9 days doing the gorilla tracks, chimpanzee tracks, the shoebill storks, and just having a grand old time. But that's me as a client, as a host guiding clients. Then right after that, literally it might be right after, I would then directly fly or have to go home quickly and then fly possibly to Tanzania for a workshop that I might be running with this partner organization that I've worked with in the past for like safaris and stuff. So fingers crossed on that one as well, still TBD. But if that works, that's also a really good opportunity for me, and hopefully more potential projects and safari stuff in the future. But that means like March and then all of April. So all of March and all of April, I might be traveling back to back to back to back. And then that leaves us to May. So then by the time May rolls around, that's when I want to start prioritizing Africa for like live stream safari stuff. So yeah, it gives us a little bit of time, but not a lot of time because I'll be traveling through most of it. But hopefully by then I should have some of my ducks in a row. And so then I might just be like, yo, let's start planning trips. If I can figure out these things, pricing, let's travel to Kenya, and let's go to Kenya again. Then let's go to Kenya, and then more Kenya. I'm saying that jokingly, but not really, because Starlink works there. So that's one of the locations we know we can go. South Africa, right? We've seen some of the big live streamers do the streams in private game reserves with cell bonding, right? With like the live view setup, and it worked flawlessly. So reaching out to some of those game reserves in South Africa, boom, let's do that. Without the Starlink necessary with the other stuff. Zimbabwe, I think Zimbabwe, I don't know what the status is, but I know some of the lodges I stayed at, they had Starlink. So hopefully that means we can run a Starlink there and then do some safari live streams from there. And then Europe, I was thinking, I've spent some time in some of those winter hides for like the bears and the wolves and the eagles and vultures. So that's another option where I can just hook up a Starlink to the hide, on the roof, and then just do a stream from inside there. Like there's all these, and that's like in Finland and a few other countries. So yeah, we would just go back to back to back. We're going to do these things. So whether Swiss you're able to join, or Cyronius if you're able to join, or Maple Glades, or anyone else. Like, I would love, because I know Swiss you're not a streamer, but you have all the filming and tech chops and the drone stuff, right? How crazy would that be? But I know Cyronius, Maple, you guys are proper streamers. So then, like, if we collaborate together, we're doing African trips and stuff. Like, come on, and the tech all works and it looks beautiful. That's the end goal. But yes, anyways, let me read the last thing the thing is saying here. That's a really important distinction, and it changes the equation significantly. If Starlink is essentially your only viable connection, then you need to think about this very differently. You'll know shit. Let me consider the dual mini approach with that in mind. The case for two minis gets stronger when cell isn't an option. My earlier point about correlated failures is still true. Both dishes will share the same satellite handoff moments, but when a second dish does give you, when you have no cellular fallback, is more upload headroom. Yep, so that's good. Some resilience against per dish issues, brief antenna glitches, thermal throttling, or one dish getting a worse satellite angle at any given moment. Okay. And then also for redundancy, if one dish physically fails midstream. Yeah, that'd be good to know. That said, I want to be honest. This is somewhat uncharted territory for IRL streaming. Most people doing this are bonding Starlink with cellular, not running dual Starlinks. The bonding layer, like the Bella Box or LiveView, would still help smooth out momentary dips, but it can't create bandwidth that isn't there. Well, yeah, I know that part. A few questions that would help me give you better guidance. What's your target stream quality bit rate? I have no, it would be 1080, it'd probably be 1080, 6 to 8 megabits. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. Which country are you planning to Safari stream from? Right now it'd be Kenya. Would you be open to stopping the... This, by the way, this is one thing I really like about Claude. I don't know if ChatGPT has this yet, or Gemini, but I like that it's a bit more... the UI is quite robust in Claude. Or yeah, like the fact that I can do these little multiple choice type of way to do Q&A. Would you be open to stopping the vehicle during streams, or do you need to stream while driving? Need to stream mix of driving and stationary. I don't actually care for these answers though. Swiss says 100 hundos. Yes. 3 to 5 Mbps for 1080 30ps. Yeah, and the only pushback, not pushback, but the only reason that might be different for my needs is if I end up multi-streaming. So if I end up trying to do a Twitch and YouTube stream at the same time, my assumption was that it would effectively just double the bandwidth needed. I don't know, roughly maybe. But then part of me thinks it's probably best to keep it simple, especially for the pilot. It's probably best just do Twitch. Make sure the Twitch stream works, and that's it. And then I can always publish videos to YouTube later as like VODs or like edited stuff. But yeah, realistically, I think Twitch is probably all I need. But yeah. Okay, so we did not get a lot of work done today, but I'm pleased. I'm happy regardless. I think some things were figured out. I still need to figure out the sled dog situation. So yeah, I think Swiss Army, I might DM you later then as I'm kind of figuring this out off stream. But realistically, if this is the sled, oh wait, there was something I forgot. Because Claude said that Finland doesn't allow for mobile connection. Finland. Oh no, why did I keep saying Finland? Norway, Starlink. Mobility. Starlink mobility services are available in Norway, offering high-speed, low-latency, in-motion internet. This mother effer. Why is Claude giving me the wrong... One of these AIs are giving me the wrong information. But maybe I should keep reading. Agreed, says Swiss. However, it would only double if you're streaming from the vehicle. If you're streaming to your home PC, then breaking out to the multiple points, it's just one upload. I feel like unload kind of works too, right? Oh man, okay. because this is what Cyronius was telling me as well, right? Before, like, okay, so what a significant change I had to my blueprint or the infrastructure of how I was going to do this was initially I bought this mini PC, and I was going to have the mini PC inside of the case while I'm traveling, so it would be with me on the Jeep, and that was what was going to power OBS and send off the stream. However, thanks to Cyronius, he clarified to me that the best solution is to not do the actual stream from the Jeep, but to do the whole encoding and relay, like send it off to a relay where then it goes to your home PC. And so then if I have OBS remotely controlled and OBS is on my home PC and I just hit stream, then I would have stable connection. So if my Jeep, if the Starlink connection drops for too long, instead of the stream cutting out, it would just kind of go into a BRB type moment and then proceed. So then what you're saying is, if that is the case, it's just one stream being broadcast, let's say up to 5 megabits per second at 1080p 30 to my home PC, and then it's just a question of how powerful is my home PC's uploading bandwidth. So then if I have no issues at home, I technically could just branch it off into as many different platforms, if I understood you correctly. Starlink mobility services. Okay. Let me talk back to Claude now. Starlink is live in Kenya, performs exceptionally well in remote open areas. One user reported speeds of 100 plus megabits per second in rural Kenya with nothing but grass and short bushes around the dish. Okay. The in-motion plan situation. This is a critical detail. All roam plans can now be used up to 100 miles per hour in motion. Yo, we're good to go. We're golden in Kenya, if we believe this. On the Roam regional plan, you can use it anywhere in Africa right away, so you won't need the expensive $250 per month mobile priority plan. The standard Roam plans now cover in-motion use. Given that Starlink is essentially your only connection, here's what I'd actually suggest. Start with one mini, test it at 1080. Use Bella Box, even with the single. Yep. Okay. All right, there's a couple things I need to clarify with Claude. 2 things to clarify. If I purchase a Starlink Mini from Norway, am I able to use it in Kenya or other continents / regions in terms of the data plans available? And then 2, I googled Norway's in-mobility situation, and it seems to conflict with what you told me earlier. It does seem like Norway allows in-mobility / Starlink connection while in motion. Please double check online and confirm from Starlink's website as well. Swiss, you said exactly. Okay. Well, that's even better news. Man, this feels... It feels more and more feasible that we can make this live streaming IRL happen. And you can only hope that the tech gets better over time. But yes, I know, Swiss, I've already said this to you before, but just in general, this has always been my goal, is to do my wildlife travels and stream it at the same time. So everything has been in preparation for that since I started streaming back in August. It was all just to, hopefully, you can see how dense I can be with some of this knowledge stuff, right? Especially the technical stuff. So for me, it's just a matter of like shotgun me with that information over and over again until until it sticks. And so now it seems like I should be able to start traveling. It looks like there's a few big purchases I still need to make. Again, thank you, Cyronius. I need to chat with you offline as well about this Bella Box concept and if it's feasible. all of that kind of stuff. And hopefully, if it is feasible and if it's something I can get access to before the start of this Norway trip, assuming the Norway trip happens, then boom, I can do a pilot in Norway just to make sure I understand the tech and what works, what doesn't. And then the true test will be once we go to Kenya. Yeah. And there's so many TBDs here. There's so many moving parts and like people I need to rely on. Speaking of which, I'm having some good chats tomorrow. I think tomorrow I have a few phone conversations on a couple projects. So fingers crossed, you never know. It could be the worst news and they say, we don't want to work with you or that kind of stuff. Or it could be some progress. So if that works out, that's great. And then Swiss, yeah, it would be great to chat with you about. Yeah, I mean, if you're able to join, listen, if you guys can all join me on these trips, that would be awesome. We can make this a thing. But it is something that it's obviously a passion for me. It's not necessarily what you guys are passionate about. Obviously, we have differing things. But I'll tell you guys one other part of what I'm hoping to do. I think I mentioned it on stream as well already. But as let's say in the happy path of all things work out well, let's say we're able to live stream in parts of Africa, parts of Europe for wildlife stuff in remote locations, and it works golden. And obviously as part of that, hopefully we grow an audience. Hopefully this becomes a part of the brand, right? Like, you can see all these travels to these countries and like doing it consistently, not just like a one-off tourism type thing. If that all works out, the other thing I might have mentioned briefly is that I want to actually do a podcast concept, but from the freaking Jeep itself or from the travels. So like I want to invite other photographers to join and hop in the back seat or like, the passenger seat, mic up and do like a straight up interview while we're doing a safari. So as I'm asking questions, and because I finally got my first podcast hosting experience, right? I was able to do a few interviews recently at an event, and it was really fun. And I think I could do an okay job at it, But then, yeah, so if I can bring fellow wildlife, like famous wildlife photographers or famous, just anyone, I'll start with wildlife, but it could be like, you don't even have to be a photographer. I'm just inviting you on a Jeep safari. And during the safari, I'll just be whispering questions at you at times. We're all mic'd up. And then occasionally we'll be interrupted when an elephant charges at us or there's a hunt that's happening. I think to me, that would just be, it'll be a really cool podcast concept. And I'm going to turn it into a series. So then, you're always, inviting guests. I'm going constantly to these remote locations and just making it a thing. So anyways, that's another kind of broader ambition that's tied to the success of all these other steps that come before it. But it'll be crazy, So anyways, Kavai says back home, great ideas coming in. Yes, we got plenty of ideas. We don't have execution, right? And so the execution part has always been one of my biggest struggles. Thank God for AI. It definitely changed the ballgame for me quite a bit. And thank God for you guys in the chat for actually having the knowledge that I don't. But yeah, welcome back, Kavai. I'm hoping Claude can come up with some good responses for me. Man, it's been taking some time. Let me check the Norway in motion questions specifically. Let me pull up the actual Starlink support pages. The Starlink page requires JavaScript. Okay, where is this guy going? Can I just look for it myself? Let's see if I go to Starlink. I swear there's somewhere on there where availability map. There we go. Why is it on US? Okay, Norway. Oh, I don't even know. Where is Alta in Norway? Alta, Norway. Because I was told I need to fly from Oslo to Alta. Jeez. Oh my god, it's like at the top. Oh, how exciting is that? Because I've only been to Norway one time, and I think I flew into Oslo, and then from Oslo I flew to Bergen, and then I rented a car in Bergen, and I did like a full-on road trip all the way, blah 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 blah, up until Trondheim. I think I went as north as Trondheim, and then from here I turned around, did a round trip inland, saw some musk ox somewhere in the middle of this national park, and then went back to Bergen. But I always wanted to go all the way up north here. So that would be fun. That's going to be freezing. Holy Christ. Okay. Service address. Okay, so it's available now, but what does that mean? Does it cover everything I need? Probably, hopefully. Rome with Starlink. Okay, I'm going in circles now, I think. And this thing is still loading. Okay. Either way, guys, it is now 10:11 p.m. 10:11 p.m. It's a bit later. I want to end the stream a bit soon now because tomorrow is a big day for me. I have to prep for a few meetings and I have a lot of work to cover. Kavai. Oh yeah, you're in the chat. I should have just asked you. You said that's Alta. Yes, in a nice fjord. So in the city of Alta, not as freezing as more south in Finnmark. Kavai, do you know how to handle a drone? Oh, also Kavai, would you be able to join? Did you say you might be able to join me on this trip, or I forget what you said? Because right now I'm looking at most likely March 9, and then I don't know if it's like a 5-day trek or expedition or something like that. But because one issue I was running into is because I'll be holding the camera. I think I'll be holding the camera, but it might be too cold, it might be too bumpy, so I need to figure out the right system. Because I think what Roger was saying is that his assumption was that I would have my sled and he has his sled, so then both of us would be having to drive the sled. But then at times I wonder, because I might want to film while I'm driving, so that means ideally I don't always drive the sled. So either that means Roger and I are only in one sled the whole time, and then we're just swapping between either maybe I'm driving it just for fun sometimes and then he's doing it, or he has to bring an additional guide who would be in the sled with me, right? To like switch between driving it versus sitting in it. So when I'm filming, I'm sitting. Or you get what I'm saying? Like those are some logistical things I need to figure out. 23 Synapse. Oh, hey, I think I remember you before, I think, right? Hello, welcome back. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing your name before. How much do these treks cost? So there's a company that's Kavai. Shout out to Kavaitsu in the chat. He works with this one company in the summertime. So this guy has his pricing on his website. It's like North, where is it here? No. northxp.no. And so they do a number of different types of expeditions. So it just depends on which one you're doing. But there's one I'm trying to do that would be like 4 to 6 days of nonstop, right? We're just doing multi-day sled expedition. But I don't know yet what the pricing would be because I'm trying to work out something custom with him. It'd be a custom itinerary. And then also I'm trying to do like this like different film project concept with it. So I'm not sure, but I know for like the 6-day one on his website, it's at something close to like 3,000 USD, something like that. I might be off, but it was like 30,000 NOK, 30,000 and change. So, which is expensive, but it's also reasonable. Or it's like, it's not, I'm not surprised by that price, if that makes sense. But yeah, but it is not cheap. But for context, right? I'm running my own photo tours. So I'm only advertising one location right now. Oh, not the presets. But even for my trip, if you would like to join my trip right now, I have a 9 nights, 10 days in Uganda for the gorillas, chimpanzees, and all that. For this trip, I'm pricing it at $6,500 per person. And that's on the cheap end, just as an FYI. Like bigger tour companies, if they did something similar, it'd be like 10K minimum. So yeah, usually these types of adventurous trips, especially for wildlife or whatever, they're not cheap, and it's for a reason. But yeah, Swiss says, what if you had a chest harness for the camera so you can still frame things with your body position? I do have that. I have a chest harness, and I have I did it for the Mongolia trip. I put a GoPro on this like thing. I had a thing for the beanie that I could attach it to. But the problem with the chest strap, oh wait, are you talking about for the Z? Oh, you're talking about the ZR. I thought you were talking about for like an action camera. For a ZR, I'm concerned about, well, I guess I would need to purchase a chest harness to begin with. And then also I don't know how bulky, because it's going to be so cold. So I'm imagining I got layers and layers on. And then if I attach something to the chest, I don't know. It's a good thought. I need to think about this. I have to figure this out. Because the only thought I had was, if I'm in there's a brief picture of it. So if we go by this picture, and Kavai, maybe you can help me with this, but if this is the sled, if this is what the sled looks like, then I can see here the top handle, or maybe this like a lower top handle. I can maybe put like a clamp and then attach the camera on a short like arm just above the clamp, right? So then it's kind of fixed to the sled itself, but that way it's just like a front-facing camera, and that could work. So then it keeps my hands free, so I can race or drive the sled. But then I can't move it around and stuff, right? It'll definitely be fixed at that point. I don't know. There's like so many iterations or possibilities of like, how would you film this if you had one camera? Realistically, I just want to bring my ZR and that's it. Or maybe I should bring a second camera just in case. Maybe it's a ZR and the Z9, maybe. Plus my DJI Osmo Nano hooked up maybe to the front lead dog. My Osmo Pocket 3, and that could be on the camera strap or one of these mounting arms that we were looking at earlier. So yeah, there's enough stuff that I have that could make it work. The question is like, if I want to make something look cinematic, I don't want to rely on the action cameras. Obviously, I want to be able to shoot in, as good quality as possible, which would then be the ZR. And if that's the case, I don't know if I want to have it fixed to always have only a front-facing view during the expedition. Because at times I would want to do selfie mode, maybe even talk while I'm, in motion, or being able to, survey the landscape, or I don't know. I haven't thought this through. 23 Synapse says, I'm off today, so I get to make your stream. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. You're off today. Is it a holiday where you are? I want to come to Alta during Finnmark Slopet, and the flight tickets are cheap until tomorrow, but should we speak more off stream? Yeah, we can chat off stream for sure. Because I'm still waiting to hear back from Roger on like the potential itinerary and the costing and all that, the logistics. So I definitely want to join you filming when you're there and give you some tips on filming on a sled. It's complicated. Yeah, I'm getting it, man. It seems overly complicated. There's probably something out there already, but what if you modified this cotton carrier CCS with a fixed mount and adjustable. Oh yeah, okay, like one of these chest harness type things. It might be worth it. It's like, how often do you get to be on a sled, on a dog sled? That does feel overkill. Oh my god, it can handle one of these super tele lenses. Well, it depends how strong your back is, yeah? Listen, I put the team on the back. I got this. With the fixed mount and adjustable arms. Oh, actually, someone I know had something like this. And then he would connect the camera. Because when we were hiking with like a 400mm lens and the Z9, he would just hook it to this harness. So the camera lens would be pointing down while he's hiking. I love my cotton carrier. It's stiff enough to probably modify for this use. 23 says it's President's Day today in the US. Well, which president are you celebrating today? Be careful with your answer. Swiss says super clamp with the magic arm kit on sale. Super clamp magic arm. Why is it not showing up here? bhphotovideo.com. Super clamp magic arm. Oh, interesting. This could work for... So you're saying you can attach this to that cotton carrier? Or no? Oh, no, you're saying this is for like just to clamp onto the railing of the sled. Gotcha. Well, I don't want to double dip, or not double dip. I don't want to... One thing I have to figure out is I don't think I was going to purchase small rig for this like heavy... What do you call it? This like heavy clamp. So for Kenya, right? So on the Jeep, when I'm rigging up the Jeep, I think I wanted to get a different brand because my understanding was that there are better brands that are more reliable for a moving vehicle, like where you need to make sure it really locks in. There's no wiggle room. It's not going to loosen up or anything like that. So my understanding, and I've also used a small rig where I did feel like it was a little bit flimsy at times. So my thought was I need to buy one of these articulating arms and the clamp from a different company. Actually, I wrote it down. The Noga arms was one of them that someone mentioned. Noga arms? Noga power arms? Yeah, so this is one of those that were mentioned. It might have been Swiss, actually, who mentioned it. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't read your chat or your message. Okay, yeah, sorry. Let me catch up on the chat real quick. Kavai says this vest is a good idea, to be honest. It might, yeah, I might have to. Swiss, do you have a affiliate link you want me to use if I end up purchasing it? I loved my harness for the Uganda hike. Okay. I have that Amazon clamp. Swiss, yeah, no, but rigging to the sled. Gotcha. Yeah, I assumed afterwards after I said it. The Mayfair clamp comes in many brands. For the arm, use Noga arm or Bogan. The clamp is basically the same no matter the brand. Okay. Is that what the Mayfair... Is Mayfair just a code word for that base clamp thing? What is Mayfair? What is Mayfair? Or is this a typo? Man, all you guys who do typos, man. I swear, I think I have a tick. Not tick is not. That's not the right word. I am like very. Mayfair is a clamp name. Okay, so I won't call you out on that. I rescind my call out, thinking that you had a typo. But the amount of times I see people on social media, like on Twitter or any of those things, and they type out this thing, and they always have freaking typos in what they send out. And I don't know why. It bothers me so much because I am a little bit OCD about this, I think. Where like I tend to try my... You will rarely find me having typos. Maybe in this chat, just because the infrastructure, it sucks. But because I'm not typing into Twitch directly. I'm using this weird vertical... I'm using Adam's chat thing, which doesn't have all the functionalities. But my point is, I almost make it a point to never have typos when I'm texting people or anything, and nobody else seems to extend the same courtesy. I'm kind of exaggerating right now, but I was like, is it just normal for most people to have typos and they don't? And it's almost like you either don't notice it at all, or people just don't care, maybe. And I think I had read a study long time ago that said that actually people who have typos, they're considered most sociable or something like that, where it's like, I don't know, there's something to do with like it was one study randomly I briefly remember when I was like, oh, people who have typos when they type they're actually better people, is basically the gist that I got. So the clamp is basically the same. Okay, so Noga arm or the Bogan arm. Maybe I should write Bogan. Bogan arm. I typo all the freaking time. I did that for the laughs. Gotcha. Okay, thanks, man. It's expected, says 23. Yeah, it's a me thing, I guess. It's a 23 and me thing. People don't care. I think way faster than I type or speak. You will see when we actually chat one day. Fair. Okay. Gotcha. Your brain can read words if you replace half the letters anyways. Yeah. It's like, listen, I'm admitting it. It's a me thing. I don't know why. I just, like, sometimes I'll be typing a lot. I make one typo early on. I will take the time to delete everything or just go all the way back to the thing to adjust it and then move on. Yeah. Okay, well, the Super Mayford. This thing looks heavy ass duty. I need to get one of these ones, it seems. But to Swiss's point, that thing is on sale. It is on sale. So basically, I would hook this up to the sled and then attach maybe the camera. Or I could also... Yeah, I gotta figure out the Osmo Pocket. Is there an Osmo Pocket 4 yet? Or maybe I should invest in the Meta Ray-Bans. I really didn't want to spend money on the latest Meta bands or Meta Ray-Ban glasses because I think it's restricted to shooting only vertical, and then I forget what the resolution was. But then that would be hands-free. Fed says, I never make typos when I write something. It's just when chatting. Okay. I'll hold you to it. People get impulsive when chatting. Realistically, you want at least 2 points of contact. 3 would be best. Oh, really? Wait. Why 3? Is that something to do with, like, 1, is it more sturdy? Or you mean it's just more versatile? Like, you can adjust it more? Or is there, like, something to do with, like, the vibration where having 3 points is better? You said it very, like, it's logical. So I'm wondering... Or it's like you said it with experience. So I'm curious why. The cotton carrier. So Swiss, you mentioned this is what you use. The cotton carrier. Oh wait, is this the same one? You said cotton carrier CCS. Cottoncarrier.com. For locking in and keeping vibrations down to 0. Okay. Interesting. So having 3 points, I don't know why, but in my mind I thought fewer points would be better. Okay, so 3 points means you can lock it in more securely plus less vibration. So you would need this cotton carrier plus the ability to... Wait, does it come with this thing? So then I attach the camera here. This might be the answer, actually. Holy Christ, though. $400. Oh, it was the answer. Do I... Because that's like... Now this feels like a... At least with the other things that we're talking about, it's money I spend and then I'll use it again. Am I realistically going to use this cotton carrier thing when I've never used something like this before? I guess I could use this in the jungle as well. Is that what you said you used it for? Hold on. Who said it when? Oh man, I'm losing track. Who... Wait, was it Fedorevsky? Or who was talking about the cotton? Oh, no. Okay, so Swiss, you said it, yeah. No. What the heck? I loved my harness for the Uganda hike. Oh, okay. So you did use this cotton carrier thing on the hike. And I do see a value. I can see that now. So instead of relying on an action camera, I could technically attach my ZR here and then get like a first-person point of view style footage as I'm walking. Although it would be pretty shaky compared to like the action cameras. Do I spend $400 on a front backpack, basically? TBD. Take the arm off and you can mount your camera directly for hiking. Yeah, I guess that is the other point. To your point, I can just strap it. Like one of my, someone I know, he did exactly what you're talking about. To carry the 400mm lens, he just had it pointing down. Usually I just have it off to the side, but then over time you can imagine it's like super heavy. Explanation. When shooting with the ZR and small cameras, I use a strap for the third contact. It makes sure the camera doesn't rock back and forth. That type of movement looks really bad when shooting handheld. Use a strap for the third contact. Okay. Yeah, I just kind of, I just rock back and forth. The explanation is more than I want to type. Basically, when rotation is applied, you want 3 ways of contact. That was a good way to say it. So it cannot rotate. It's very useful for that GTA third-person perspective too. Let me send you a clip. Can I copy this? Let's see. Copy link. Oh, nice. Wait, you have this cotton carrier thing as well? You're right. It looks so GTA. That's hilarious. Oh yeah, I have something similar for the Insta360. I have this big selfie stick and then I put the thing on there. But yeah, it's not good for the jungle. It could work for the sledding. So that's the other thing. I was thinking I'll stick the Insta X4 onto the back of it and get like a 360 shot. Or like a drone-esque shot. Okay. Take the arm off and you can mount your camera directly for hiking. I have the G3 CCS carrier. The one with the arm is more useful for the dog sled for when you need the forward-facing rig. Yeah, this one here, right? Oh, no, is this different? Cotton carrier CCS G3. Cotton carrier CCS G3 harness.
This is the Cotton Carrier G3 harness. Trusted by thousands of photographers across the globe. Born from necessity. Refined by experience.
Oh.
At its core, a patented twist and lock system. Quick, secure, intuitive. Your camera locks in place and is ready in a heartbeat.
That's pretty damn good.
G3 distributes weight evenly, eliminating neck and shoulder strain, even on your longest shoots. From mountain peaks to wedding aisles, this harness works where you do.
Oh, ho, ho. A binocular.
Crafted with high-density Codra synthetic canvas, reinforced stitching, and water-resistant coatings.
Okay.
To ready files.
I think you've sold it for me. I also have the waterproof lens bag for the side. Okay. Listen, let's not go crazy. How much money can I realistically spend right now? And I haven't even proven this. I haven't even done anything yet. We haven't even proven the model, but I think it's worth it. There's some Norwegian streamers, but I'd like to do the same. Gotcha. Okay, nice. Yobel is going to compile all the links we're sending him, and in a few years going to be making bank from recommendations. Yeah, I got to affiliate link everything, man. I also have the waterproof lens. Gotcha. Okay, well, listen, guys. This has been such a productive stream, so thank you guys. I appreciate it. My cat says thank you as well. Yeah, Kimbap, talking about you. Nala's just dipped somewhere. But, okay. Fun stream, guys. Happy Monday. I appreciate it very much. Those of you on Twitch, if you don't mind, I would like to return the favor and see if I can raid someone. If someone I know happens to be streaming, I would like to find them. But I keep forgetting how to do it. Oh, here we go. Raid channel. Who is streaming right now? Oh, Cat and Candle is streaming. And Cat Candle was hanging out in our stream earlier. So it looks like he's doing some photo editing, if I'm not mistaken. And his name is Cat and Candle, right? So I feel like it just kind of comes par for the course that we should support them. So those of you who happen to be on Twitch, if you don't mind, I will send you guys off to our fellow chatter community member, Cat and Candle. And then on YouTube and the person on Kick, thank you very much for watching. You've been very consistently watching today. Thank you. But yeah, thank you guys. Today was a fun stream. Did we get a lot done today? Not to show for, but my shopping list has grown, so I guess that's a positive. Other than that, I will be streaming tomorrow again, same-ish time, most likely. I have a few meetings. Actually, maybe not the same time. I don't know. I have a few afternoon meetings, so as long as that doesn't kind of conflict, I should be good to go. Again, last little call out. Go to my YouTube channel. If you got 5 minutes, check out my latest YouTube video. It's called So I'm Starting Something New. And it's basically the episode 0, but it's really episode 1. And it's my giving context for why I'm doing this new concept called Behind the Lens. It's a new series that I'm going to be starting on YouTube. It's a new flavor of me, just like bite-sized versions of this overhead talking head type of a shot. And yeah, hopefully this way I'll be more comfortable in front of the camera in these types of moments and share some interesting things for you guys. So like a bite-sized live stream is what it is. So check it out. Let me know your thoughts, like, subscribe, all that. Thank you guys. And the Twitch people, I think you guys will now be heading over there. And I will end the stream. So thank you guys. Cheers.